is what we're gonna do, man. This is what we're gonna do. First of all, shout out to my man, Facts on Wax. Facts on Wax, who isn't here. You know, I'm playing replacement and shit. But peace, Vandals and Vandalettes. It's your motherfucking boy, the Guard Mathematics. And I'm filling in for the Vandal Hour Guard Mathematics. And you're now watching the Vandal Hour Season 4 live on DTFradio.com. Yo, make sure you check us out at our new time and date. Technically, it's Sunday morning. Still Saturday night to us. We didn't go to sleep. And that's every Sunday morning from 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. You know, we at the K-Slay hours. We at them nighttime hours, you know what I mean? You can't also watch us live on Ustream or on TuneIn app at DTF Radio also. So, you know, we got a lot of places that you can find us. But right now, go to www.thevandalhour.nyc. You go watch us live. You don't got to go through no bullshit, no. Vandal Hour. You go watch us directly, right now, live, and in flesh and shit like that. You heard? But what's going on, Mr. 13? Vandal Hour.
Yo, man, I'm chilling. I'm happy to finally be back after the long hiatus.
Yeah, you were sick and shit.
I was sick, but now I'm back to my regular self, thank God. We got a beautiful show lined up. We're going to be taking it to another level, setting the bar high.
Especially for this year.
Yep, definitely for all radio stations and internet radio and podcasters out there. We setting the bar on y'all. We got a legend in the building.
Facts. Where's the gunshots? You got to throw the gunshots behind. You say legend and shit like that. You got to throw gunshots behind that.
That's right. We got the man, the myth, the legend. One of the Bronx's most notorious graph writers. He goes by the name of Cope 2, Kings Destroy.
Where's the gunshots? Yes, he is in the building with the Vandal Hour Guards, man. We got Cope JD. You already know what it is. We, as the guard said, we setting the bar high. We breaking ceilings and glass ceilings and shit like that. That's how we doing it.
Yep. That's right.
And we also got Sunez Allah.
I was just gonna get into that after this segment. After we get into the monologue and the interview, we got Sunez Allah in the building, and he will be chopping it up with Liggy Long.
Yes, he's be doing his premier hiphop.com segment on the Vandal Hour. You know, the guard, we like to keep the guards close to us, so the guard will be in the building doing what he do. You know, it just came back from the low goose on the deuce tonight. Most likely he was there. I'm assuming he was there.
I didn't see him there. He wasn't there when I was there. He may have gotten there afterwards. It was a dope event. We all met up at McDonald's on 42nd Street between 7th and 8th. It's a long tradition for the low lives. They come out there, they chop it up, they do awards.
Nice.
For best female dress, best male dress.
They be having a lot of gooses on the deuce.
There was a lot of gooses on the deuce.
Nice.
And it was good weather for that because it was cold out there, man.
Earlier
it was freezing.
Earlier it was.
What you call it? I heard some drama happen out there on 42nd Street.
You know how these young bucks are, man. They get crazy. Some dudes walked into McDonald's, started punching chicks in the head.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, one kid, he punched like 3 females in the head. The cops rolled up. They were more interested in the low and in the awards than they were actually in stopping the crimes that were going on. They stopped to pose and take pictures.
So wait, did they come from the low, or were they just some outside kids?
It was some outside kids.
Okay.
It was.
You want to make that clear because you want to make sure no one gets, try to attach that to the low event.
It was peaceful. The low event was peaceful. It was all love. You know what I mean? So
checks and balances was out there.
Yeah, checks and balances was out there. Shouts to her. Shouts to Rudy Lowe, who was out there as well. Thurston Howell was in the building. Ski Low, Rack Low. All the low legends.
Did you get some good flicks and video?
Yeah, I definitely got some good flicks, some good video, and that's going to be coming out in maybe a month or so. We've got a little interview going with Rudy Lowe that we're working on.
Okay.
Yeah, some exclusive shit.
Yeah, also, man, Swift missed last night.
Yeah, I was at work.
Yeah.
I was at work at the strip club. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's strip.
That pays the bills.
Your name is Strip Club Swift.
That's right, and I try to live up to it.
So nothing. You don't want to never stop anybody in the team from getting money.
Yeah, that's
right. But last night was kind of real wavy, man.
Yo, I was really hoping so. Like I was trying to catch glimpse if there was any glimpse on the pages and stuff. I saw the layout. The layout looked dope. I was like, oh snap, that's the same office. Oh, okay.
Listen, I want to give a shout out to Checks and Balances, the Vandal Hour, and 1718 Collective. They put a lot of hard work in.
Made for Kings too. Made for Kings too.
I'm not taking as much credit because I've been sick. So they grabbed the torch and they ran with it. I appreciate it. I came in. And I did what I could after they did what they had to.
Yeah, we had a good turnout. A lot of money talk was happening.
That's always good.
A lot of network was happening.
Williamsburg Projects was heavy in the building.
I come from the streets, man, and they support what I'm doing. They see that I've changed my life to do something positive. So the guards came out. Let me just say that was most of the guards from my projects.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Especially the OG guards that put me on, my mentors, my OGs, my triple OGs. Shout out to all of them. Dupreme, BK, Khalid, Keems, everybody who came out and supported the grand opening of our office, our space, man.
There was a lot of hip hop talk in there, man.
That's what's up.
There was 2 people that said they didn't like Ready to Die, man. That was the first time I ever heard that.
Wow.
Especially from 2 dudes from Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah.
What was their alternative album that was being compared to it?
There wasn't really an alternative album being compared. It was just stated that they didn't like it.
They were just like,
that wasn't my cup of tea.
I'm not gonna lie. I was the person
oh, word.
from Brooklyn that didn't like Biggie's albums.
He even said Biggie was overrated.
Yeah, I think so, man.
Wow.
I'm gonna give you my explanation why. It's very simple.
Please.
I heard the album when it first came out in 1994. It was on the flip side of Craig Mack's pre-release joint.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a different album.
It was the promo. It was the Big Mac promo.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
It wasn't the full album.
Right.
And the music that I heard then, and then when I heard his album, it didn't reflect what I heard.
Right.
And then the second album to me was commercial ass shit.
Oh, it was.
You know what I mean? I'm not into the R. Kelly type music.
Now you're talking about Life or Death. Life After Death.
The second
After
joint.
Death. Yeah, the double
You're talking about Ready to Die.
Yeah,
no, he's talking about he didn't like either album.
He didn't like either one.
He didn't like either. He didn't like the Biggie collection.
He don't like any Biggie album basically because Biggie only had 2.
Right. I feel Biggie was overrated. You know what I mean? I have other points to make about that. But, we're going to have to do a whole show about it.
We're not going to lose focus.
It was a good debate.
I'm glad I wasn't there for that. I'm glad I wasn't there for that.
It was a good debate, man. It was good, man. But in other news, man, H&M was fucking up this week.
Oh, man, yeah.
They had the kid in the controversial hoodie.
Yeah, Monkey in the Jungle.
Yeah, we spoke about this on Respect the DJ.
Yup.
I said we. Swift spoke about this on Respect the DJ.
Yeah.
This is crazy, man, because first of all, I haven't said my opinion of the situation. So this is the first time I'm saying my opinion, because there's a lot of people who wear bathing ape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have thought that could be, thought of as racist, since it is a Japanese clothing brand and
they're not close. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say my opinion is that I think it was out of taste. I think that whoever is behind H&M should have all the people that it went through before it becomes real.
The mother gave the okay. Yeah, she came out and said that she gave the okay.
And I understand that, but you gotta understand that these are people who come from poverty.
Right. I agree.
Coming from poverty and you may not understand the dynamics of what you're doing.
Right.
So you just see a check. I'm assuming they African.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're not. They're
No.
from the UK.
Yeah,
They're from the UK.
but a lot are.
Yeah.
A lot are.
Yeah.
You
So,
know what I'm saying?
But they, most people of color are born in poverty.
Right.
So I'm saying they probably offered her a big check, and she did it, not understanding the ramifications or part of self, the ramifications that was going to happen after this shit hit the
fan.
stands. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, she gave a statement about the whole situation, and she was saying that her son has modeled in tons of clothes for H&M, and that in the UK is different, and that Americans are taking it to the left, basically.
Right.
So
it's many different things, man. I'm gonna say this, man. It was a good. You need these conversations these days, because if you don't have these conversations, then you have a lot of people just walking around unaware.
Right.
And there's no dialogue. Through dialogue, you come to an understanding.
Right.
So you need these dialogue. You need things like this to happen. If it doesn't,
Dialogue changes a lot, man.
It
changes a lot.
communication.
Yeah.
Communication could change
everything.
Change minds.
that's a fact, man.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you get to see that? Did you see the whole H&M joint?
I mean, why does a black kid gotta be a monkey though?
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
To me, I'm a monkey.
Yeah.
Anybody could be a monkey.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna look at it that way,
Yeah.
then you need to be educated.
Yeah.
Right.
Because in the end of the day, we're all just human beings.
I mean, it's facts. When I
think
was a little
people take
kid,
it
my
too
aunt used to
far.
call me her white monkey.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she just gave me this big ass white monkey and
Right.
shit.
I mean, like, all fairness, if it is about being a different cultures,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, how the UK look at it and how we look at it, that is the part of H&M's marketing director to be like, listen, our American base, we are not gonna put this little kid up on that platform out
gonna
there.
get attacked.
They are different, because if you're on that platform, like you're the director of your world marketing, you got to be
Well,
worldly
It's not-
aware of what's
the
going
crazy
on
thing
in your
is that
market.
those type of companies, those big corporations, they do like marketing events, and they have people come in and they show them what they're planning to put out.
Marketing
and,
research.
and
It's
marketing
called
research, yeah.
research.
But this is
so
what I'm
it
saying.
passed all of that, and still,
But this is
like,
what I'm
it's
saying.
crazy.
At the end of the day, we all know there's someone that's in that high position to say
Yeah,
yes
someone
or
said
no.
okay. Yeah,
Someone
said
said
put it in
okay
there.
to this. Like, you looking at it, you're in a position. If you're really aware, if you're in that position, you're trying to have people that will let you know what's going on. Whether you got social marketing department, then you got this department. You're talking about world scale marketing now.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about New York and we're trying to branch out. Y'all already out there. Y'all a world company. So that's where I think the responsibility falls on, because if you're gonna throw we have different cultures in it, then okay, cool. Know about our culture over here. We're sensitive to that shit.
Yeah.
Straight up. We're sensitive out here. Y'all out there, that might roll off to y'all and it's nothing. Or y'all are brazen like that, and this is what you do.
Yeah,
And
there
you
was
willing to
another
say,
website that put up a joke, and it had different ethnicities wearing different
Yeah.
sweaters, and they had a Muslim kid wearing a shirt that said "I'm the bomb."
right, yeah, there was
Yeah.
one with an Asian kid like,
Yeah.
yo, show the nudes, and it was like a bowl of noodles with
Yeah.
chopsticks, and he's like,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, there's a whole line of, but this is my thing. Like, don't get me wrong. It just stems from you're using kids to make adult jokes.
Yeah.
Now you're being malicious because you're poking fun at people. Let's be for real. You're a parent, correct?
Yeah.
So imagine if someone uses, now your kid may not get nothing out of it, but what about that neighbor that's next door that looks at it and scoffs at your kid because he resembles the kid on that shirt? You know what I'm saying? Or in that ad. Now, and you know how that person moves. Now you just cause a situation.
No, I feel
You know what I'm
Trust me,
saying?
I
This
know.
is, these are where, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to play that game, you know what I'm saying? I just feel, you got to be aware of what you're doing.
Now they're aware. They knew what they did.
Yeah, that's
I
why I'm
mean,
like, yo.
Positive or negative, they got a lot of publicity out
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
nah, it did more than what it intended to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of publicity, Joe Buttons, man,
Yo.
is being in the public eye
He's been in it a lot lately.
much more often than not these days.
jacking 50's moves.
If you didn't know, he's not with DJ Academics no more.
He's
Right.
not with Complex. He bounced.
Yeah.
He got fired, supposedly.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, and now he's down with Puff Daddy.
Revolt TV.
And
He got
Revolt.
the bag. $5 million.
Nice.
Get the fuck out of here.
$5 million.
$5 million to sign with Revolt. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Shit, deuces.
And right now, he's going through a little beef with B12.
Yeah,
and Eminem,
bizarre.
Because of him giving a rating about an album.
Yeah, he said
that he didn't even hear. That he just saw the track list.
Well, he
So
heard
I think
it.
he heard
He said
one,
he
yeah.
heard it. He said he heard it.
Yeah, I heard two. I seen it live. I seen the original time. From the
moment
video
he
I
said it,
seen.
right.
He said at that point he only had seen the title and the titles, and he had made an opinion that the album was trash from these titles, and a lot of backlash came back at him because of this.
I mean, he had already heard the Walk on Water track and
Yeah.
a few of the other ones that had leaked before, and he made the same judgment as a lot of other people that the album was trash.
Right.
And Eminem didn't appreciate it and dissed him on the Chloroseptic remix. Well,
Yeah, he does mention a person being mad about the titles and shit like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And he was beefing with the D12 dude, Bizarro, was coming at his head. He came back at Bizarro, crazy.
Bizarre.
I gotta say the key word again is publicity.
Yeah, it's a
Because
50 move.
They are label mates. Eminem signed Joe Buttons. Joe Buttons is signed to Eminem. And the other thing is, it's a good move for Eminem to get him out of retirement because Joe Buttons retired from rap.
Right.
And so I'm guessing Eminem's like, I gave you some money.
Yeah.
You need to get back in
You
that
need to recoup.
studio.
You gotta recoup that
Yeah,
bread.
you gotta
Recoup
recoup.
that. Not only did you walk off with my bag, but you dissed me.
Word.
Well,
But it's crazy, man. That now that he has his platform, he's looking different. You know, you had the baby. He's acting different.
No, you're not.
I think that he's not on the same. He's still opinionated.
Yeah, which
He's
is
still,
fine. My
he's
thing
still
is
opinionated, but now his platform has grown,
right.
like substantially. And
But I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you this. It looks like a similar move of like a star in Buck Wild.
That's right.
You create enough controversy, people look at you, whatever. But you gotta realize what made Buck Wild different was he did not move from where he stood. He would take it to the end. Like he's lost shows for what he said.
He's on Star.
Star.
Yo,
Yeah,
but
correct.
he's a legal licensed. He's a licensed gun carrier.
No, but understand he had to make sure he became that because he said a lot.
A lot of people, didn't know that Star was a licensed gun carrier.
No, I understand that.
And he talked his shit, and he walked around with the hammer.
Right, all right. But still, I mean, like, let's be for real. Everybody calls himself Billy Badass. You know what I'm saying? So, this dude, this is what he did, but he stood by it. So my thing is, if you're going to do that, stand by it. Sometimes
Joe
you be
Buttons
shaking.
stands by the shit that he says.
Yeah,
I haven't really
but-
seen him.
Yeah, he doesn't
backtrack.
I give Joe Buttons a lot of credit. He stands by all that shit he talked. They beat him up and all that. He got beat up and all that.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear the story, Raekwon actually tells a story on one of the Drink Champs
Yeah.
or something. If I'm not mistaken, you can look up that story. And he's like, yo, nah, we just scuffed him up a little bit. You know what I mean? It was a little light one. It was a little light one. And that's what 50 said when he addressed Joe Buttons. He's like, you got to ass up in a light one. No, something
Right.
light. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Joe Buttons, as I said, he stands by what he says. But speaking of like these rap conflicts,
Right.
Mad Skills
Yeah.
versus
Uncle Murder.
Uncle Murder, man. Who would ever thought we would even be saying that sentence?
I kind of had a feeling
I
from
knew
when
it would
was-
eventually
Yeah.
come to this. Yeah.
Because of this one song?
Yeah,
Nah,
because you got to understand,
I-
this isn't the first one.
This has been a
This
long
like the
time
fourth
coming.
one. This
Yeah.
like the fourth one
He
consecutively.
kept poking at
Yeah.
Mad Skills.
He definitely on the new one. He definitely just outrightly just shitted on him.
Yeah,
Yeah, he shitted all over
I
him.
mean, listen, it's like what we like to throw around when we all hanging out with each other. If you don't have an enemy, you gotta create one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something's gonna move, and I'll tell you this: Uncle Murder's underneath a G Unit camp. Who else? Why not pull out somebody that's doing? You jumped in someone's lane. Because if you listen to the first one, he says he's not even trying to interfere. I'm just doing it. But as it kept on growing and he's getting more notoriety so where people are looking at him now, he's like, well, I'm gonna snatch that whole thing.
Who you think had the better song?
Honestly, I haven't heard them all straight through.
I didn't hear the Uncle Murder one.
I heard Uncle Murder one. I haven't heard all of Mad Skills.
I heard the Mad Skills one. To me, Mad Skills fucking.
Mad Skills is nasty, bro.
Blew fucking Uncle Murder brains out.
Yeah.
Nah, when you hear the clap back, Uncle Murder threw some lines, some bombs in there.
Are you saying this because you burrow banging?
Nah, I'm not burrow banging.
Or was it a good
he responded well. You know what I mean? Some of the disses that Mad Skills threw, he responded well with them. Because we all know. Well, we don't all know, but Mad Skills came out on there like he was a killer.
Yeah.
I got bodies in VA.
Nah, he didn't say that, man.
Yeah, he did, man. You don't know about the bodies in VA.
He's talking about rap, though, man. He wasn't saying that. He wasn't saying that.
I'm gonna tell you this. Mad Skills is known.
He's a professor now.
Yeah,
but he's a teacher now.
Right, yeah. But the thing about it is, don't take it away. I remember when he came out with Nod Factor and all those songs. He's been lyrical for years.
Yo, you just remembered one more song that I don't remember none of his songs. Thank you for.
No, he didn't really have.
That's
he wasn't
one of the
known.
things Uncle Murder said. He's like, you only known.
My cousin
for
Roscoe, you watch it.
Up.
We finally got a title because we was trying to figure out a title of a Mad Skills song. I remember him being out. But I don't remember none of his titles of his songs.
And freestyling was his thing. So, don't get me wrong. That is a dope battle because it's gonna show how much has Uncle Murder learned. And has grown.
It's cool. I think the clapback was cool. I enjoyed it.
I gotta listen to them tonight, and I'll give you all full
I like both of them, though.
Week.
You know what I mean?
Yo,
I'll give you a full breakdown next week.
Yeah, my man is doing a lot of things right here. If y'all don't know, Mr. 13 is one of the people that works with Felon Magazine.
Yep.
And he's the one that worked with me on an article last issue.
That's right.
I interviewed Ovi.
That's right.
And now who you got this month?
Well, yeah, man. Be on the lookout for this. This issue is coming out within the next 3 weeks. We got Mano on the cover. I'm very excited. This is the first cover.
Gunshots.
I got to actually shoot the cover of Mano, so it's my first hip hop cover. So shout out to that.
That's what's up.
Congratulations.
You gotta hit that. You're the closest one. You're the closest one. So
yeah.
He's the most sober one right
now.
I know, right? Oh man.
But yeah, who you interviewed?
I interviewed Hops Art.
Nice.
And so Hops is gonna be in that issue as well. Shouts to Hops. He's been a mentor of mine for years. I always appreciate him.
Between for the people who don't know, Hops is the one who just designs all of our maps for the show.
Yep. We got that new map over here.
He did 3 maps for the show. So shout out to Hops Art, man. He always hooks us up with a dope map for the show.
Shouts to Hops. We had a little run at the Graffiti Hall of Fame. We scorched it.
Yeah, I was there.
Nice.
I was there one of them years.
Yeah. And I mean,
how was the interview? How you feel about it?
Nah, the interview was great. You know what I mean? I feel like I did him some justice. You know what I mean? And we also interviewed Diz the Icon. Shouts to Diz, who's also coming out in the magazine.
Ain't Diz part of the Cypher Show?
Yeah,
on DTF?
you could catch Diz the Icon on the Cypher Show every Friday from 9 to 11 p.m. I'm the executive producer of that show. I will be there every now and then when I feel like it.
For the people that don't know, that's the OG of DTF Radio. His show is the oldest show.
Longest running show.
The longest running show on DTF. He got like 10 years at DTF.
Wow.
He's been at his...
He's been here since the beginning.
Now,
right?
this is our 9th year.
Okay.
Year. Yeah. We'll
You
go
sound
on
like
to
an old man. Like, whoa. It's only 9 years, not 10 years. Easy.
Yeah. You're adding years to me right now.
Well, he's about to touch that 10 years soon.
Yeah, that's right, man. So we got a lot of big things coming up. We looking to line up some bigger names for our show as well.
Yeah, so we got a lot of things going on behind the scenes, like Darwin dropping cans and shit. But that's
shit.
Y'all don't
How
see
you
that.
not see that, but you're the shooter? How you not see where you walking, but you're the shooter?
Now, for the people that might not be familiar with this part of the show, but this is when we get into this week in the Vandal Hour News. We got a lot of things happening coming up these next couple of weeks. First of all, if y'all follow us on Instagram, if you follow us on YouTube, we just put up the Juice video.
That's right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we did. It's up there. If you didn't catch it live last week, you could catch it on YouTube right now.
Yeah, it's our first episode of the fourth season.
That's right.
Whatchamacallit?
We had Debonair on there as well.
Yeah, Debonair, the winner of our Lost Art of the Wordsmith showcase.
Correct.
Was on there. He spit
Shouts
some
to-
bars on like.
Yeah.
He spit some bars
He
on
did his
that
thing,
episode, man.
I want to say shouts to Legacy for holding me down since I couldn't make it last week. He came through and held me down. So peace to Legacy. Man.
Facts.
Word.
Shout out to Legacy, man.
We also got another video up there with the God Cortez.
Yeah, we if y'all don't know, we have another chamber to the Vandal Hour called the Vandal Hour After Hours. It's hosted by myself, and I'm gonna have other guest co-hosts also. And we interviewed Cortez, man. And it was. I'm not gonna lie to you. For the first time, me doing a one-on-one long interview with someone, I'm new to that. It was decent.
We got it down in one take.
It was
That's what's
decent.
up.
Yeah, we wasn't asking the questions a million times over and over and shit. We did it straight through. We vibed out. We smoked some blunts.
Nice.
And then we just went and just did this interview.
That's right.
So make sure y'all check that out. You can go to www.thevandalhour.nyc and check out anything that we put on YouTube on our DTF radio.
I want to say a shout out to Cortez also because he just dropped his album.
Whoa.
Bodega.
The Bodega,
That's
man.
right.
The
Shots, hit them
Bodega.
gunshots, man.
So, make sure you go out there and support that brother because he always supports us. So check out the album Bodega.
And you put a snippet of the song
Yeah, I put a snippet
on the
in the
opening
beginning.
of the interview.
Yeah.
Nice.
The song is crazy, man. It's crazy. It's very.
He got some bangers in
He's got a single out with Method right now that's pretty dope. So definitely check that. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and he be fucking with them dudes from Texas, man. And I always forget their names. But our dudes from Texas, my Spanish dudes from Texas, I forgot their name. But yeah, he be fucking with the bros, man. Also, man, on January 23rd, the 17th,
25th.
No, 23rd.
Nah, this is
23rd. It's the 23rd. It's a Tuesday.
God, we working, man.
We got that many events
working.
back to back, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, all right.
It's
I
a
got you.
back-to-back event.
Oh, man, y'all doing it then.
On January 23rd, the 1718 Collective will be having their 3-year anniversary.
Yeah. Y'all getting old.
Yeah, the guard is in the background right now. It's at Karma Lounge. We will be featuring different artists. We'll be having live performances.
I'll be there, of course.
It's from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. DJ Swift will be on
know
the
it.
ones and twos.
Please bring some of your strippers, man.
Yeah, please invite the strippers,
I
man.
don't know, man.
All right.
Yeah,
You slacking.
Nah, I'm not slacking,
That's
man.
true.
Listen, nah, man.
That's true.
No, look. All fairness.
Goldie lost a couple of his hoes.
Who?
Goldie. You Goldie.
You say I love
Goldie.
my hoes?
Goldie
Oh, we gotta talk about
lost
this
a
off
couple
air.
of
But
hoes.
anyway,
Your mink ain't dragging on the floor right now.
No more.
Oh, y'all trying to come
No
in? All
more. But yeah,
right.
we need some of them.
I'm being politically correct on camera, okay?
Yeah,
I'm just letting y'all know.
We need some of your friends to come back. So
Ladies, y'all hear this? Y'all hear this, right? Everybody who's watching that know me, let them know. Yeah, daddy's home. I gotta come back out for the new year, all right? I'm
Facts.
trying to be good.
we'll be
trying to be good.
We'll be celebrating the 1718 Collective 3-year anniversary. They've been creating, curating, doing what they've been doing what they do. And we're gonna be at Karma Lounge. Make sure you pull up. We never had no negative situations, so bring that positive energy, positive vibes, vibe out with us. Make sure you got your vape pen because you can't smoke no bud inside the place. You can't smoke no bud, man. But make sure you come out and celebrate with us.
But the lit cartridges will be in the building.
Yeah,
That's right.
we will be vaping out. For the people who know, you already know. Also on January 25th, the 1718 Collective and the Vandal Hour, in conjunction with Made for Kings and Checks and Balances, presents a Woman's Touch art show at the Rock Wall. We're going to be featuring artists, all female artists lineup. If you don't know who's going to be in the art show, it's on our it's on the 1718 Collective page. We got a lot of dope females. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
I would know we got Fuchsia.
Yeah, Fuchsia is definitely part of it.
Andrea Dominguez. I know her because her artwork is insane, man. I'm a real fan of her artwork. She has paintings of some of like hip hop's legends. She does it justice, man.
And I think Giggles is one of the people that's part of it also. So shout out to them. So make sure you come out to the Rock Wall, which is in Ridgewood, Queens. It's $5 entrance fee. We're going to be partying. It's going to be crazy. And it's just going to be a good time. So come out and vibe with us on the 25th.
That's right.
Now this week on Vandal's Flexing, we didn't really post nobody on the Instagram page for Vandal's Flexing, but I did post a lot of art. I posted Doss, WGF, and so Ned, KGB, rest in peace, Mr. and J.A., Scuff, Sentu, Wayne, Devo, Trap, Ever, Sen, Meps, X, and Lex, and so again. Now, if you want to be featured on Vandal's Flexing or on our the Vandal Hour Instagram page, send us, DM us some fly flicks. We'll post it up. If it's trash, we're throwing it in the trash. If it's basura, don't send it to us.
I want to start a new one. Like I want to start the Toys R Us page. So when they submit trash shit, I'm gonna post it up.
So we're gonna start a Toys R Us segment, and we can't do it.
I'll do it.
Yo, it sounded good though. But make sure you send us if you wanna be featured on our Instagram page. Put something up dope. We'll snatch it. We'll steal it, and we'll repost it. If it's trash, we won't do nothing.
We post it.
Yeah, I fucked up.
We're gonna we post it.
We post it. Now in regular news, Trump lawyer arranges porn star payment for her silence in October 2016. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't, but I'm not surprised.
I didn't hear about that one, man. What was that about?
He got caught up in some shit. He got his lawyer to pay it off to have her shut the fuck up.
Like he does all the time.
But what makes it scandalous, this was October 2016. So if I'm not mistaken, he was running for president already.
Yeah.
So that's the scandal.
They did a
part
good
of
job. His lawyers, man, they earn every dollar.
Yeah.
His lawyers is called the FBI.
You're right. But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not stressing it anymore. I just saw a clip of The Simpsons with Donald Trump in a casket, so I'm good. You know, if The Simpsons say it, it's happening. So I'm not stressing it, dog. Like we're gonna have to ride through this, but I'm gonna tell everybody, get your coins up. Get your coins up before shit hit the fan. Get your coins up.
I'm not gonna lie. The only part of the article that I was really looking for was the porn star name.
No, they ain't gonna do that just yet. Or did they?
Because she might be on Pornhub.
She probably is. They're all on Pornhub.
Yeah, pretty much everybody's on there.
So we're gonna take a short music break with DJ Swift, who is at the table, and he's running to the DJ booth like Speedy Gonzalez. And when we come back, we'll have Cope, KD, in the motherfucking building,
That's right.
live on the Vandal album on DTF Radio, doing what it do. So don't go nowhere. Stay here. Listen to this dope interview. Hey, yo, Swift, do what you do, God. Yo. You are now tuned in to the Vandal Hour. Tonight on the Vandal Hour, we have a Bronx legend in the building. He is a graph icon, and he is one of the biggest writers out of NYC. So it is my pleasure and the Vandal Hour's pleasure to introduce to you Cope KD.
Cope 2.
Cope 2 KD. Part himself, man.
Yes.
I'm 420 friendly. You know, I'll be under the influence sometime. Pardon me. We got the one of the Bronx top 5 in the building.
That's right.
Cope 2. How you doing, God?
I'm good, man. You know, it's been a journey, man. You know, like 35 years doing this, man.
Woo!
Yeah.
But
Let's go. Give that up.
That's right.
thanks for having me here.
I appreciate you for coming to the Vandal Hour. You know, this is very big for us. This is like one of the biggest interviews we had in 3 years. And I'm having the pleasure of actually doing the interview. So that's even more of a big thing for me. You know what I mean? To be the actually being the one to conduct this interview.
Thank you, brother. It's about support, man.
And I appreciate
we
you
gotta
for
support
doing
each
this.
other, man. That's what it boils down to.
So, you know, we was listening to a lot of old school hip hop before we came back in, man. We spoke to you about hip hop, and you're not a fan of trap rap. Who were some of the dudes you was listening to hip hop wise when you in your hip hop zone?
Now or when I was growing up as a kid?
I want to hear both.
Growing up as a kid, man, I mean, you know, Sonic Force,
Woo!
Yeah.
you know, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Coogee Rap. You know, those were like, you know, the masters to me back then.
That's
know?
right. I hear you.
And today I just, my you know, who I listen to today is Tupac. You know, that's my favorite, man. Tupac.
Mine's also.
And basically, when it comes to rap today, that's all I really listen to, man.
Yeah.
But I like all kind of music.
You
Not
come
just
from
hip-hop.
like the Bronx, like the heart of hip hop. You know what I mean? So your opinion is different from like the average ear. Like you from like the essence of that time. So I had to ask you that. You know what I mean? This is your hip hop point of view, especially since you come from the Bronx. You know, as being a person from the Bronx, and when you came into this culture, describe to us what the Bronx was like in those early years.
I mean, you know, I was a kid, you know. You're talking late 70s, early 80s. Growing up in the Bronx, to me, you know, me and my boys in the neighborhood would just, you know, we had nothing. So we would just take train rides, you know, and look at all the graffiti. You know, that was kind of our playground, was the subway ride. We would get 5, 6 of us together. Or we was b-boying. You know, we was breakdancing too. I was b-boying in the early 80s already. You know, I knew Rip 7 from Rocksteady Crew, Mr. Freeze from Rocksteady Crew.
Rest in peace.
Big boys.
And no, that's Frosty Freeze.
Oh, that's Frosty
yeah,
Freeze.
Mr.
Yeah,
Freeze.
okay, gotcha.
And he's still around. That's my man. And you know, they all used to roll with my cousin at that time. So I was breakdancing, and I remember they brought Rocksteady Crew one time through the neighborhood, about 81, 82. And we battled them. You know, it was like our block against Rocksteady. That was kind of fun, you know. So we kind of grew into hip hop. It was normal in the neighborhood, you know, listening to rap music, you know, watching the graffiti, b-boying. That was, we lived it, you know. That was, yeah, it was normal to us, you know. It's something, you know, that's all we had when we had really nothing.
Was it a violent undertone during that time in the Bronx, though?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's violent all the time, you know. Violence is just, to me, it's human nature, man. You know, that's something, it's normal, man. You know, people just fight all the time for the most stupidest thing.
The reason why I say that is because my stepfather was living in Tracy Towers during those years.
Yeah, Tracy Towers, that oh man.
And when I used to go to see my step pops at that time.
What year was this?
It's like 82.
Oh wow, yeah.
You
I was
know,
hitting the trains right under the 4-yard. It's right there.
I'm
right
not gonna
under.
lie to you. That shit looked like hell.
Yeah, Tracy
Like-
Towers was crazy.
Like
yeah.
under that black, under that, it looked like hell. When I say hell, like
Yeah, it was-
that's my image of the Bronx in the early years. You know,
Yeah.
it was. So that's why I asked you, was it a violent element? Because it looked dark.
Oh
in
no,
the
it
Bronx
was. It
back
was.
then.
Yeah. Tracy Towers was wild. You know, lucky I was cool with a lot of dudes there, because when we would hit the 4-yard, we would get raided. Like in around the summertime, the brothers be upstairs playing basketball. So we would run up, and they knew, you know, we was train riders, because some of the riders would live in Tracy Towers too. There was some riders too. So we would run up on the upstairs and just act like we was playing basketball. and lucky the brothers would be like, yo, here, you know, take take the ball and we just play like we was really, and the cops didn't get it. You know, they was like, and they would just run around looking for whoever they were chasing. So that kind of saved us a lot, you know.
The train yards during that time, was there gates on the yards at that time? Because I heard a lot of stories that people just walking into the yards.
Some of the yards had gates, but they were little old rusty gates. So you know, people through the years, the old riders would make holes. So there were holes already. They would try to patch them up, but sometimes you just jump right over, climb over. It was just simple stuff, you know. Just go in and get out. It was just easy.
I hear you. Now, what was it about graffiti that got you addicted to it?
Man, you know, it's just being as a kid. You know, I would take the train rides with my moms. We would go to 3rd Avenue shopping, and I would just stand on the platform. Every time, my moms would always take the train to go see a family member, right? And then, boom, you're sitting on a platform. I'm like probably 11 years old, 12 years old. Here comes a train, boom, big Comet, big Blade, Mitch 77, you know, like these huge pieces. It was like insane. You know, I didn't even know what was graffiti at the time. Thought it was normal. But then when you walked inside the train, you see the insides bombed with just tags everywhere. You know, I remember seeing Bantu all over in the insides. It was just like phenomenal. So that really inspired me. And I said, man, I want to get my name up like that. Yeah. You know, I was like, what I got to do? My mother's like, oh, you can't do that. That's graffiti. It's illegal. But, so we moved up to Mashula Parkway in DeKalb, which is a few blocks from Tracy Towers back in like 78, 79. There was some graffiti writers on the block too. So I met them, and then, you know, just talking. When you start talking with people, that's how you start to learn. Yeah. And then I always used to hear about this place called the Writer's Bench, you know, but I used to hear a lot of stories about it. Yeah, 149th Street, Grand Concourse, you know. It was violent there. You could get vamped. Vamp means like get your shit robbed.
Right.
So I was like, nah, I ain't trying to go there. I'm only like 11, 12 years old.
You hear the Swift?
Yeah, I'm learning. You know, I'm peeping the glossary.
I'm not even trying to go over there, you know, and get robbed. You know, I was a little dude back then, you know. But then I met this dude, Trap One, OTB, 167, you know, Latin artist, little Puerto Rican dude. I'm riding the subway trains, looking out the windows, and he was doing the same. And we just started talking. Yo, you write? Yeah, I write Code 2. You write Track 1, OTB. And then he was going to the bench. And he said, I'm going to the writer's bench. You want to come? I said, nah, I'm not going over there. I'm trying to, I hear this, I hear that. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. Yo, you with me? Trap knew everybody.
Wow.
You know, he just was cool with everybody. So I went there with him the first time. And, man, he introduced me to, like, Smiley 149. You know, with so many writers back then, you know, Bantu, OTB. And I was like, wow, this was like where the heroes, like the superheroes hang out. To me,
it's like you just walk into the Justice League and shit. You're like, oh.
Out. Yeah, and then he's like, oh, that's this dude who did that car. And you see everybody there with their black books and they're just signing black books. You see some writers beefing a little bit, arguing, but no fights, you know. And I'm just taking it all in and digesting and like, wow, this is like, it was like another world. Yeah. You know, you go to
a secret world.
Yeah, it was bugged out because 149th Street Grand Concourse.
Hall of Justice.
They had a bridge up on top where you could cross over to the downtown side. That's where everybody hung out. Yeah. So I remember looking up and there was so many writers up there. I was like, holy shit. I went up there. Then they had the elevators back then used to work. So the elevator would come down, it would open, and then writers pop out. Everybody's like hugging each other, and I'm watching all this. And like, yeah, you see my car yesterday? And I'm just watching everything. So that's how I kind of learned, and just hanging out with the real dudes,
originators,
you know,
and
yeah,
stuff like
and
that.
just watching them. I was calling them superheroes back then because when you see a piece roll by like a T-Kid or Case 2 or a Scene, you know. To me as a kid looking at that, they're like superheroes, and then when you meet them, you're like, holy, it's like.
No, I totally.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
I understand that 100% because I know, like for me, like I see these guys look at you, I see some of the other guys look at you, and they're like, oh shit, like this dude is here, and I'm like, I appreciate graph. Yeah. I'm not a grapher, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a DJ.
Right.
So now when I walk into a spot for like DJ battles and like I'm just hearing you talking about it, like I've walked into like Hammerstein Ballroom and some of these other spots, and it's like I am like 2 arm lengths away from Rob Swift, from Q-Bird, from D Styles, from you know what I'm saying, all these guys that are like DJ battlers, turntablists, I remember the first time I did a set with Grandmaster Flash, I did a set with Kid Capri, I did Afrika Bambaataa doing drum and bass.
Wow.
He let me play next to him, like he's like, yo, you could use my crate. I liked your vibe in the back room. He's like, yo, and he's handing me records. Wow. I'm like, my dude, I just learned drum and bass and what it is like 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? But I'm down in the cooler and I'm like rubbing shoulders like, this is Bambaataa. Like
meeting the people that you look up to, and maybe not even look up to.
Created though, but like
somebody
created,
inspire you.
Right. I mean, inspired all the way, but like you're looking at someone like to see Bambaataa and to see guys that molded and shaped what DJing and turntablism shit that I do.
Paved the way.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how you doing? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to stay cool. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm DJ Swift. I was rocking that set over there. But then I'm like, yeah, but you're so-and-so, And I'm hearing you and I'm like, yeah, I understand where my guys in here, how they feel when they see people. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I dig that. Like that's awesome,
I'm still the same. If I see an old writer that I've never met,
right?
I've pretty met all of them, but I'll be like, wow, that's you? Like,
yeah.
Because you always got to give respect to these guys who paved the way.
Right.
So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
So with that, like piecing wise, you know what I'm saying? Who really like influenced you with like doing your pieces and like what particular styles?
My piecing style, I mean, I was trying to do it myself, but I wasn't too, it started with I was in high school. And this kid in my class, Hep 7.
Okay.
We were junior high school. And he was in my class, and he's like, oh, Case 2's my cousin. I'm like, yeah, all right. Everybody says somebody's somebody's cousin, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, it's not your cousin. Case 2's like the ultimate god back then.
Right.
Yeah.
And you hear these things about him. He has one arm, one leg. And you see his pieces.
The man, the myth, the legend.
I mean, the dude was insane.
Right.
How can a dude with one arm, one leg do these pieces? It was like insane. So he really told me he was his cousin. So he's like, you been to the bench? I said, yeah, I've been there like maybe 1 time or 2 times.
Right.
He said, you want to meet Case 2 tomorrow? I said, no way. That's when I said, all right, let's see if this dude's for real.
Right.
He was for real. So he tells me to meet him. I said, look, man, I don't want no shit. Because I see how Case 2 was really, like, energetic.
Right.
Case 2 had this attitude. He was, like, really loud and powerful. If you knew him, you knew Case 2. Like, he was a really serious dude.
Right.
And I went to the bench, and I see Hep, and I see people around Case 2, and I was like, oh, shit. And Hep was like, yo, I told you. Call him right now. He's like, yo, Case, come in. He introduced me. I was in shock. I couldn't even move. I was
right,
like,
yeah.
What was the vibe?
He was like, you coke too? Yeah.
Right.
You be killing them 4 lines. He was just like, because
like,
I was killing the 4 line
at
the time. I was a little dude, but I was killing shit.
How did that feel with him knowing who you was?
I was
kind of
like, nah, this nigga's bullshitting. Like,
right.
He was like, yo, you be killing the 4 line, shorty. And I was like,
nice.
Really, this nigga just said that? I was like, fuck. And I'm looking at him up and down like, wow, this dude's like amazing. Like, to see a brother like that, 1 arm, 1 leg, his energy was just phenomenal. Straight up. Just seeing his pieces on the car, on the trains.
Right.
And knowing about him, hearing about him.
Yeah.
And the respect he had.
Right.
You could see him in Star Wars, and you could see the respect he had in Star Wars.
Let me ask you a question. During Star Wars, where was you at career-wise, graph-wise during that movie?
I was still doing trains. A lot of people did trains that didn't come out in it. It was just...
I heard that.
Yeah, Mitch 77 didn't come out in it. That's one of my idols. Mitch 77 is straight up my hero. When the Mitch 77 car came by,
that
was like Superman or Batman.
Because I've had mathematics explain to me that there were certain rules and styles of when you hitting the train, like you would do either underneath the window or you do the hole. You would do either do the hole. You won't do no half-ass. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain rules.
Was he doing whole cars or
right
or panels?
Or panels.
Okay, see, like
I did it all.
Okay,
I did a few. top to bottoms.
Okay.
Window downs.
Now, when you say window down, I'm sorry. For me, like
Window
does that
down, whole cars are like when you do a piece from the window down.
Okay.
So me and Cone at the time was doing a lot of window downs. And my crew when it started, KD, was Kids Destroy.
Okay.
So me, Spell, and Rio, the first KD members, we would do window downs.
Okay.
And then I did a few top to bottoms, not whole cars, but like, you know, half a car. Because I used to feel like, damn, like I used to watch the Comet, the Blaze, the Dondi whole cars, the Lee whole cars, and I wanted to do that, but I felt it was a waste of paint.
Right.
You know, I was like,
let me ask you a question. How many cans do it takes to do a whole car?
it depends, man. You know, I never really did a
Nah,
whole
but like,
car.
so let's say.
Maybe 20, 30 cans.
All right.
Wow.
I just want to know. I never
You know?
did it. So
But
Yeah,
that's
you know,
easy. I mean, you steal the paint back then, so it was nothing.
Right.
So you had dudes,
You know?
that's what's crazy. You had dudes like doing trains on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Doing
They
these
racking
big
and
Yeah.
they racking and they walking around with 30, 60 cans because I mean I'm pretty sure guys wasn't just. Well, I mean, how long would it take to do something like that? Like, well, you did half a car, so how long would it take you on average?
I mean, the thing is, like, when we went in the yards, it was comfortable for us. Once we knew the train yard was dead, the workers were finished cleaning, we go in there with bags of weed, we smoking blunts in the yo, we would literally sit in the train, roll a blunt, smoke it, then go out and paint the
Wow.
train.
The good old days.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was
the old
Good
New York
old
City.
days.
shit was
Yeah.
like our playground. You
Right.
know, and I'm blessed. I thank God every day that I was blessed to live that.
Right.
You know, to actually paint subway cars and see your piece run through all the 5 boroughs.
Right.
You know,
What was the feeling the first time you did your joint and you seen it rolling live?
man, it was funny. I did a little silver and red, and I went with these 2 riders from my block called Soph and Piz, right? And we went to the 4 yard. They took me there for the first time, and I did a little silver and red in the corner, real in the corner. So it's like, I didn't think I would ever see it. You know, I'm like, So I'm walking with my moms through Jerome and Gun Hill, and we stop on the corner, and it's so crazy. The 4 just pops up right there, right in the corner of Jerome and Gun Hill. And I just looking up, I said, oh.
Whoa.
I told my mother I did it. She didn't believe me. I said, Ma, look, I did that one right there, the little silver and red. She's like, no. She did not believe I did it. But I said, wow, that really even pushed me to do it more. Because
Right.
when I saw it ride and it popped up right in front of me, I said, wow, that shit was dope. I said, I'm going to do more. That's it.
So wait, so what was her response when she realized it was you actually doing these trains now? Because I'm pretty sure you got a few underneath your belt by the time she's like, wait a second, that boy writes that all in the house. Like, now I'm seeing it over here, and I know it's him now. What was her response to that?
She
Like the
told
first
me-
time?
She told me, you got to be careful. What are you doing in those trains? She's like, who's taking you in there? How you going? How you getting the spray? And my mom's was real, you know.
Okay.
So I was always honest with her, and she was like, you got to be careful, you know. 'Cause back then we were stealing everywhere. You know,
Right.
there was Woolworths. We would steal film.
Yeah.
We
wow.
would steal. You get caught. They call your parents. Got to come to the store pick you
Yeah.
up. So we were getting caught every day stealing. You know, it was normal. It was normal, man. We was stealing everything. No money. So my mom, you know, she was always supportive.
Okay.
You know, bless her soul.
That's what's
she was
up.
supportive.
You know, I've seen in other interviews that you mentioned Cap MPC was an influence of yours. What was it about Cap that influenced you?
Cap, man, you know, I met Cap through my boy Cone TNF. He was working at a grocery store on Bronx Park East, right?
Okay.
And his father owned it, and you know, we was starting to hit the 2s and 5s. We was killed the 4s already. So we started going over to the 2s and 5s, and they were starting to paint them white. So we was like, wow, the white trains are coming. We're going from 82 into 83. And then Cone was like, yo, guess who comes in my store every day? And I didn't even know. And I'm like, who? He says, Cap and all these NPC motherfuckers. I'm like, really? I said, yo, that dude got a bad reputation. He's just killing, going over everybody's pieces. He's like, yeah, but our niggas mad cool. He's like, yo, they come in here like 10 deep, bunch of rockers, MC boots, and they
Right.
buy cases of beers. Like, so then Cone was talking with him, and Cap was like, oh, yeah, I see your stuff up. Cone's telling me that Cap saw his stuff up with me. He's like, who's Cone? Yeah, that's my partner. He's like, yeah, I'd like to meet him, you know? I was doing a different throw up at the time. But we was bombing hard, me and Cone. Dudes who knew back then, they knew me and Cone was doing a lot of pieces. and throw-ups. So Cone was like, Cap wanna meet you? I was like, hell no, I ain't meeting that dude. You fucking crazy, man. He said, yo, that dude is huge. You know, he was like, so I said, fuck it. He said, no, he's not gonna do nothing. He's mad cool. Trust me. He knows my pops. He's cool.
Right,
they
right.
come every day and buy cases of beer and they go to the park and they drink it. So I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah, come tomorrow. So I go over there and I'm get off the Bronx Park East on the 2 and you just walk like 1 block and the grocery was right there. I see a bunch of bucking heavy metal white boys with fucking radio with rock. I was like, oh, that's gotta be them.
Yeah.
So I was like, I walk around them, they all looking at me weird. I walk in the store, I'm like, yo, that's them. He goes, yeah, that's them. Oh, come outside. So I knew who was Cap off the back. This dude was huge, like really fucking huge dude.
Yeah.
And I see why nobody really stepped to him, because this dude was like probably, I was already what, 15 maybe, 16? This dude was already like 19, maybe 20. He looked like he was 30 years old. If you see him in Style Wars, you see how big he was.
Yeah.
He was a big fucking dude. He like a fucking Viking. It was just, so it's like, I'm looking up at him like, oh shit. He's like, oh, you're Cope too? Yeah, I'm Cap, MPC, boom. He's like, yeah, I like your throats, man. You're killing and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yo, why don't you come, chill out with us in the park? And then I said, yo, Cone, you gotta come. I'm not going over there.
Right.
So that's when he introduced me to Rook, rest in peace. He started to introduce me to a few, Flint. It was, matter of fact, MPC wasn't only white boys. They had some Spanish dude. One of the craziest motherfuckers in the crew was Flint. He used to write Flint and Foul. And he was Cuban, but he was a Cuban, but he was a rock. I thought he was a white dude because the way he was down. And then I'm sitting down with him, and he starts talking to me in Spanish. He said, "Tú eres boricua," blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, shit, what the fuck is this? He says, yeah, I'm Cuban, and blah, blah. I said, oh, shit. We started kicking it. I thought it was like, And he was just cool. Then I met Dos, MPC. He's Puerto Rican. And then I said, oh, cool, a little mix, All right, cool. I felt more comfortable because I thought these guys were going to do some crazy shit to me,
Let me ask you a question. When you, during that time, the iconic throw up that you have now, did you have it then yet?
No, I didn't have it. So check it. I was chilling with, I got comfortable with Cap. Cap was cool, And then one time I went to pick him up and at his crib, and he told me come inside, do some black books, and then he said, why don't you do this throw up? And that's when he gave me the throw up. It was more thinner, and the circles inside were more bigger. Yeah. It was called MPC style. So I was like, wow, this looks cool. So I started doing those, and the minute I got down with MPC, I started getting hated a lot. That was a bad move. I didn't know how bad they were hated and how bad Cap was hated.
The politics of that time.
It got, and I was a young kid, so I was like getting a throw from Cap, a notorious bomber. And at the time he had a crew called God. And his crew, it was called God of Destruction. So he was powerful. The dude was just having war with all these other crews from all these other boroughs, destroying. And I asked him, why are you going over these pieces?
I was about to ask you that.
Yeah.
But he made sense because even though he says, look, they go over me, I said, yeah, but you have a little throw up. I don't care. Why? Who makes the rules? He said like
That's
that.
Deep.
Who makes the
That's
rules?
Deep. Yeah. That's deep.
This is illegal. Why is it rules? All I ask is for a little piece on a car. And here comes someone and he do piece. I said, yeah, but Cap, they covering it. It's like, he goes, to me, it's still a disrespect. I don't care. Yeah. He was serious about that shit.
It's crazy?
He was serious.
That argument is still around.
Yeah, no, but
to
I
this
understood that. So I'm like, damn, he got a point. But I'm like, yeah, but you dogging burners, like
crazy dope shit.
Yeah, but he knew who to go over because he never went over Mitch. I don't think he ever went over Case too. There was certain dudes he didn't fuck with because I guess he knew, he ran into them. It was a different story.
If you don't know who he's talking about, you gotta watch Star Wars. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's basically like the blueprint of the culture.
History 101.
Yeah, History 101. You gotta check Star Wars out.
Got you.
And I know I forgot about Dreams Never Die.
That was more like
that's not different, but I just seen that on somebody's page today, and I couldn't remember what movie King 65 was in. Yeah, but you gotta check that out too.
Dreams Never Die.
Dreams Never Die. State
And
your
Star
name.
Wars.
Dondi did the graffiti for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Donnie the
Oh, that's
graffiti
deep.
for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's deep. Yeah, check that out.
Now you talked about Cap and his bad reputation. Now in your career, you've had some wars and beefs. Is there any writers that you had as adversaries that you're friends with now?
Oh yeah, man. I had one of the greatest wars I had back then was with Scene and PJ.
Okay.
And Cap.
Yeah.
Because when I left MPC because I was getting dogged too much, my pieces, I said I can't do this. You know, and then I'm running into dudes like T-Kid. T-Kid was no joke either. If T-Kid caught you in the yards, you were getting hurt.
Yeah.
This dude would vamp you, crack your head. It was like another level. Because T-Kid came from that gang mentality.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a graffiti writer. You know, a lot of these writers came from that gang mentality.
He was here and he spoke. Other people who spoke about that.
T-Kid was feared like, yo, he was no joke, you know, at that time. And I knew about him, but I respect him. He was another dude I looked up to a lot.
Yeah.
And then one time I'm just doing throw-ups on Kingsbridge layups. And I was just about to leave MPC because I was tired of my pieces getting crossed out. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. And I started getting into wars with writers from Brooklyn, TVS, and RTW. Men is crossing me out.
Yeah.
Duro's crossing me out. Ron 1, Second. These are all dudes from other boroughs just crossing me out. I'm like, wow, this is serious.
Because
Because of MPC. Yeah.
MPC.
You know, I was repping MPC. And I said, you know what? I got to stop this. So I'm bombing Kingsbridge layups, and then it was T-Kid, Min, Boozer, and Swan. They're in the park. This thing called St. James Park. They're smoking weed, and then they're calling me, and then T-Kid's like, yo, you cold, man. Yo, I want to speak to you. Come to the station. And I didn't think none of it, you know? Yeah. I was like, oh, that's T-Kid. I knew I used to see T-Kid all the time. But I would keep walking because this dude was bugged out, you know?
Yeah.
It was like scary dude back then. So I was, oh, there goes T-Kid. I keep walking.
Right.
And I go to the station, and I see Swan 3. He's running at me because me and Swan 3 was cool. He's like, yo, get out of here, break out. I'm like, why? I'm talking to Swan 3, and here comes T-Kid with a bat. He's swinging at my head. And I was like, oh, shit, I weaved it. Because at the time, I had just started taking boxing. Because I was like, yo, this graffiti's getting out of hand, so I got to try to, like...
Learn something.
So I weaved it, and he hit the fucking... one of the poles on the station, and he just pointed the bat at me. He said, don't let me catch you in the ghost yard. Because I was bombing the ghost yard, too.
Right.
I would go in there, do throw-ups, and get out. So I think T-Kid didn't like that. Because if he caught you in the ghost yard, he was vamping you, period.
Why they call it the ghost yard?
Because it was a creepy place. It was like so quiet. That's where they fixed the train. So they would take a train. It was not, the train yard wasn't so live all the time. It looked like almost like a graveyard. But the trains were there to be fixed. So they would put cars in there and let them sit there for weeks. But it was so dark in there, and you go in there, you don't know who's in there, who's popping up. It was real creepy, so they called it the ghost yard because it was like a graveyard almost.
Right.
Unlike other train yards were more live, because that's a normal train yard where trains are coming in and out, coming in for service. But the ghost yard is a fix shop. It's where they take the trains, 207, and they fix the trains. So I would get in there, do throw-ups, 10, 20 throw-ups, and break out. And then next, I would see T-Kid over them and this guy. I'm like, oh, man. So then, T-Kid's like, stay out the ghost yard. If I catch you there, I'm going to crack your fucking head. And your boy Cap, too. I crack his fucking head, too. I was like, yo, you got it. No problem. I broke out. I called Cap. I'm like, yo, I'm done with this. This is getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? T-Kid just tried to crack my head. Boom. He's like, what? Oh, yeah? He's like, you know what? There's a show at Fashion Motor. I want you to come with me. We'll go there, and if Tika's there, I'm gonna fuck him up. So I'm like, nah, I'm cool. This is like a little,
Getting out of hand.
Yeah, this is like, I'm not fucking with it. Whatever. I'm young, you know what I'm saying? I'm like 15. Next thing you know, I hear Cap went over there with Tracy 168.
Yeah.
And he went up to fucking, T-Kid was sitting down, and he went up to T-Kid and was like, oh, you T-Kid? You said for me to stay out the ghost yard? I'm Cap. And from what I hear, T-Kid stand up, punched him in the nose, and they started fighting. Cap threw fucking T-Kid through a sheetrock wall, fell on top of him. They were fighting. And it was all because of me, So I felt like Cap calls me. He's like, yo, I fought T-Kid. I fucked him up for you. I'm like, no way. I didn't believe it. I was like, oh, now I got to worry about this dude coming and look for me.
Adversary now.
Yeah, so he was like, no, we squashed it. Everything's cool. After we drank some beers, we smoked some dust. Everything's peace. I was like, oh man, this shit is serious. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but I still didn't want to rep MPC no more. Even though Cap 4T kid, because he tried to swing on me, my pieces were still getting dogged. So I still left it. Cap got mad and he started ragging me. And I got into a war with him and the whole MPC crew. At the time, a new crew was coming out of MPC, a new young kids like Elf, Echo, you know, it was a bunch of new guys, Ed, MPC. And then at the time, PJ was released from prison in '85 for some incident he had in art and design. He shot up the place. And so all of a sudden, they all start going over me. Seam, PJ, Cap. I'm like, wow. It was kind of cool in a way because I was young, right? And I was getting up. And to have PJ, Scene, and Cap go over you.
Focusing on you.
That's big.
Yeah.
So I took it like, wow, I got war now with these fucking legends. This is crazy. So I just started going at war with them. And they just crushed me hard, though. Because they were more ahead of time. You know, they were more, I guess, experienced in wars. Because they had wars. PJ already had wars
Many
before.
wars.
Yeah, PJ was already a fucking war master. You know, he's been having wars for years.
How's your relationship with any of these writers now?
I mean, we're all grown, man. You know, we're all cool now. You know, dudes are like 50 and over now. It's a whole nother level. You know, it's different, but it's cool to lay back and think about those times. You know, the glory days.
I hear you. Now, throughout your graph career, is there anything that you would change?
Yeah, man. I think about it now. Maybe, I don't know, man. Maybe just being too open.
Okay.
You know, I learned that I should have been a little more to myself on the low. And because I learned, you know, I looked out for a lot of dudes, you know, and I'm a type of dude, I look out for you, it's all good. You don't owe me anything. I'm not one of these dudes like, oh, I bought you a pizza, you owe me one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not like that. I gave you 5 cans, you got to give me 5 cans. Why you didn't hook me up? You'll know I hooked you up. And if you don't hook me, it's fine. But you know, I'm a type of dude I looked out for. Like when I was doing my video Kings Destroy in 2000.
I checked them joints out. Them shit was fire back in the days.
I did a once everybody knew I was doing a documentary, everybody wanted to get down.
Yeah.
Everybody's your boy. Everybody got love for you. Oh, Cope, you put me in your video, blah, blah, blah. Everybody wants to be down with you. Everybody wants to be KD. Once the video comes out, they get a little shine. That's it. They forget about you.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't know you no more. No more love. That's it. You know, and I was like, wow. I feel like people use you. They're opportunists.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They're
There's a lot out
opportunists.
there. Yeah.
we
But
know,
the
we know
video,
about that.
I wanted
Definitely
to
know about that.
I wanted the video I wanted to give people shine too. Because sometimes when you just give your own self shine, it's weird. It's like you damn if you do and you damn if you don't.
Definitely.
Because if you don't give them shine,
Then
they'll
you're
talk
foul.
shit.
Yeah.
You know, then you give them shine.
They still talking shit.
still talk
afterwards.
shit.
I just don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it. It's just insane.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think you receive like this this negative energy from certain people?
It's common sense. It's just hate, pure, simple hate. Because you know you have people out there that spread rumors. They're all lies and created by cowards and haters. That's what they are. It's the truth, and it's sad. But in the end of the day, you learn that, you know, hate will never end, man. You know, it's just part of life.
Yeah.
It's part of life. It's like it's balances love and hate.
Now, do you think you get more hate than love?
Nah.
Nah.
Not at all. Nah. Not at all. I get so much love. It's insane.
Got you.
And in the end of the day, I don't even care no more what people say. Because I know in my heart what's true.
Got you.
I know I'm the truth. And in the end of the day, as long as my family loves me, I got brothers that back me up.
Right.
Real brothers.
Right.
You know, my kids, my grandkids, my immediate family. My girl, you know, these are the people who really love me.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Right.
What's the difference between Cope now and Cope of the past?
Man, I'm really still the same. I don't know. I'm just a cool dude. Like, people meet me and they're like, wow, you're cool. You're a good dude. Like, I hear all this and that. A lot of shit is built on hype, too. You know, it's a lot of hype, a lot of rumors. It's just, To me, it's
do you
disgusting,
think your
man.
old reputation interferes with things you do now, or with the reputation that you are having now, that you become over the years, from maturing? But do people still look at you as when you was, when you was last running in the street, they still have that image of you? Or is it, like, yo, look, I can look at you now as an adult that you've grown, I've grown,
Some
matured.
people do that.
Right.
Some real genuine people do that.
Okay.
Real genuine men do that, not haters. They don't do that. And like my boy Dero, TFA, he said one thing.
Who was here?
I was talking to him and he says, you know something, Fernando? If you were still living in the Bronx and Jerome Avenue doing permission walls, everybody would love you. Because when I had all the permission walls, everybody wanted to get down and do walls with me.
Exactly.
Like when I did my book in 2003, Cope 2 True Legend,
Where can the people get that at if they wanted to get that book?
They sell it on eBay, man. It's hard. I got probably 100 copies left, but
Got you.
the thing was they made 5,000 copies, hardcover book, full color, 275 full color pages.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it sold worldwide. And the dude who did the book, he passed away from cancer, my boy Oris from Paris.
Oh, okay.
I was like, his idol. He wanted to do this book before he passed away. He wanted to do it, and he did the book. It's amazing. And it's kind of insane because he told me, look, Cope, I know you got a lot of friends. You've done so many walls with so many people, but the book's about you. You got to focus on you and your pieces only.
Right.
I said, nah, I don't want to do that. I did so many walls with people. I want to put the whole walls in. He's like, you could put some in, but focus on you. And I didn't do it because once people knew I was doing a book, that was the other thing. Oh, you putting my piece in it? Oh,
Yeah.
I hope my wall comes out. I'm like, I
That's
got you.
crazy.
I got you. Don't worry. I put everybody and their grandmother in the book. Know what I'm saying? When the book dropped, you could feel the hate. It's insane. You can hear the talking. Oh, why they do a book on Cope? He don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And these are dudes you paint with.
Yeah.
It's insane. You're like, really? He said that? Get the fuck out of here. But I just put him in the book.
Let me ask you a question.
It's just crazy, man.
Graph has taken you around the world, literally. Did you ever think that Graph will be the vehicle to you to see the world?
Nah, man, I would never imagine in my life. As a
A
kid,
kid from the Bronx.
Bruce Lee's my idol. So when I saw Return of the Dragon and he's fighting in the Coliseum, and when I first went to Rome, that was the first shit I wanted to
Hell
go
yeah,
to.
I hear that, bro.
I was like, I want to go to the Coliseum.
That's fly.
Where Bruce Lee filmed fighting Chuck Norris. Like,
Right.
I wanted to go there. And it was a project I did with Adidas. They did a big, full, whole line on me with sneakers, sweat hoods, and they flew me to Rome. It was a collaboration with Foot Locker. So just going there, to me, God is good. God is the greatest, man. And in the end of the day, that's my faith. And he created me to be this. You understand? I feel that. Because to be going from where I come from and traveling the whole world, it's a blessing, man. And God is the truth. And if God has my back and he's protecting me, I don't care what they say out there. It doesn't matter. Because it's funny. Haters every day are saying things, and the more they say things, the more shows I'm getting, the more money I'm making. So what if they're not doing anything?
What's the future of Cope in 2018?
Well, right now I got about 4 shows booked, going on 5. I got a big one in New York coming, a really great gallery, so really blessed. I don't say the names of the gallery, I just keep it quiet, don't know. I got one in Brussels coming, and one in south of France, Saint-Pierre, France. No, St. Philip in France. And I got one in Morocco, which is going to be really good. And another one in, Zurich, Switzerland.
Yeah.
I already got shows working to 2019.
Woo!
I'm trying to catch up to my man Cause. I got to give it to Cause.
Yeah, Cause is big.
I used to paint with Cause in 95, 94. We did about 4 or 5 walls. We're down with the same crew, Fame City. And just watching him inspires me. It's kind of crazy because he watched us and he got inspired from us. So now I'm watching him, how he is just like just taking over the art world. It's you know, just watching his direction is amazing, and I take that into, you know, inspiration, and I use it. You know, I'm not a hater. I'm not gonna hate on him or hate on anyone. You know, if I see someone and I see what they're doing, I take that and I learn from it, and I try to use it, you know, in my way for my path, and that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Any last words to our audience and everybody that's listening right now?
Man, just, you know, just do you, man. You know, who cares what anybody says? You know, social media is not real. That's not real life, man. You know, you could promote yourself with it, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna go on social media and you're a grown-ass man and you're gonna listen to lies and rumors, then you got a lot of growing up to do.
Yeah.
You know, get a life, man, you know. And that's basically it, man. You know, stay real to yourself. Don't hate on no one. Do you. And I'm sure everything will come in, you know. Keep it real to yourself. Respect others. And that's what it boils down to, you know. I'm here to stay, man. You know, God has created me. And I ain't gonna stop till my last breath.
Any shout outs you wanna give?
Man, my whole crew, man, my whole family, and my brother Glenn, man. You know, I want to give, you know, I went to see him today in the hospital. You know, he had a open heart surgery.
Shout out to Glenn.
And then he had a stroke. So I want to dedicate this to my brother Glenn.
Shout out to Glenn.
You know, I hope he recovers. I'm sure he will, man. God is good. He looks good, man. I'm really surprised. He looks good.
Vandal.
That's positive.
And to all my real brothers out there, you know who you are, man. Thanks for the support. You know, thanks for the Vandal Hour for the support.
We thank you for coming to our show, man.
All the people who support me on Instagram, I love you all. Thank you. Haters, I don't know, man. You guys got to get a life, man. Because I ain't going nowhere, man, until God says, and that's that.
Yo, we're glad that you was sitting with us conversating about this thing called Graph, man. It was a pleasure building with you, man. We will be working with you in 2018, guaranteed.
All love, man.
Guaranteed.
All love.
Bronx is in the motherfucking building.
Yo, BTC, man.
Yo, we're gonna take a music break with DJ Swift. We got Sunez Allah, kind of late. It's still gonna be his whole segment. You know, I run DTF management-wise, so I'm here. Sunez is gonna get on, do what he do. He got Lifelong in the building. That's who it is.
Liggy Long.
Liggity Long in the motherfucking building. So shout out to Cope, KD, Cope 2, KD for doing the show. We're gonna take this quick music break with DJ Swift, and when we come back, Sunez Allah is in the motherfucking building. Aye!
Vandal.
The hip-hop writer is a creator, composing understanding words of culture brilliance, powering a rebalance of the elements equally. Page is a rejuvenated reaffirmation, simply the almighty leadership of insightful craft work that stands to build through any confrontation born to be. Yet his daily duty is as a journalist that questions properly, uses his ears for the good to filter the real. And as the art decays by dilution, he concentrates the best again and again, exposing it in the print. Today's journalist and tomorrow's historian he listens to share. Here is that necessary attempt executed again and again and again. Peace. This is Sunez Allah, a.k.a. Skillustrator Low, and you are listening to the premier hiphop.com show. All right? My brothers and sisters, I just realized something outside. I say this every time, though, and I don't appreciate you playing music that I like. Because I want to come here bitter with something to prove about hip-hop. And then he's playing all these songs, and like, oh, I remember I had good times with that. Yeah, I remember I liked that song and shit like that. Fucking DJ Swift.
DJ Swift?
Yo, man,
Yo.
I'm sorry.
Nah, yeah, no, it's all right, though. It's just that I'm so used to everybody being a fake fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I want to thank G-Math. I got to thank DJ Swift. I got to thank everybody at Vandal Hour. It's a real honor to be back here for season 4 in this new year. Happy New Year, everybody, because I haven't had my chance to tell it to everybody. Why is PremierHipHop.com here? Because vandalism is a wonderful thing. And the only way that I write on the page, though, is by vandalizing the whole thing. I totally disrespect the English language. We take words and we use it the way the fuck we want to. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like we're playing a trumpet through the other hole. You know what I mean? But what we do at Premier Hip Hop, what I've been able to honorably pioneer, based off the legacy of I would say the big hero Bones Malone. When I was reading his stuff, because when I read his stuff, I didn't understand what the hell he was talking about. All I thought was like, man, this motherfucker get to write shit, anything he wants. I don't even know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Because people layering words and shit like that, I was taught to be so rudimentary with it, so basic with it. You know what I mean? That I forgot the imagination on the page. You know what I mean? And I'm mentioning all that because right now, whether we missed it or not, right? Today was Low Goose on a Deuce, you know what I mean? And a way to honor the low lives and the low life culture. And being that I'm someone that has gotten that salute from Bones Malone himself, who has been able to honorably pioneer my own element as a hip-hop writer, been able to be renamed honorably by, or additionally named, that's probably a better way to say it, additionally named by Thurston Howell III as Skillustrator Low, and giving my L's though for an appreciation for what I've done for hip hop culture, and you know what I'm enabled to do in the street with the youth by Rakim's Supreme Shabazala, aka Rudy Lowe, and that honor is always with me. You know what I mean? It's like being knighted and shit. You know, you become a low life. It's like you're knighted and shit. You know. And like I said, I'm the lone low life with a home sewn garment. You know what I mean? I'm that old school. I like to put patches on my shit. I like to take patches nobody got. You know what I mean? I gotta have kung fu patches on my stuff, Wing Chun dummies on my polo shirts. You know what I mean? If I could put a sword, you know what I mean, or I could put like a staff pole on the right as he's on the polo horsey. You know, or un machete. You know what I mean? And just, we could do it, you know what I mean?
You gotta make it, man.
Indeed.
That's what's so dope about just the low culture.
Absolutely.
There's so many people, you know what I'm saying, that are just on their own lane and just
absolutely,
their own lane.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's something that you could do.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, the low life is when I say honor the real. You know what I mean? And and it's only because I want to be the one to tell it to y'all. The only negative, though, is that I'm going to give you my terrible trend for 2018, you know? And I was watching, I wrote something really, I guess, biting, but it's really, scathing. But it's really the regular shit that I always say. But I had written about, because a lot of people have been talking about Amara La Negra and her stuff on Love and Hip Hop. And I actually put Love and Hip Hop in Miami for a little bit. And I felt like a stupid fuck after I took it off because I just felt stupid. It was like, like when you put your SpongeBob for the kid too long, they start losing their mentals and shit. You know what I mean? Right. It was like adult SpongeBob. And then I just saw this gay brawl, and I was like, it was these two gays brawling and stuff, and they were trying to out-gay each other, and it just looked like two clowns in a circus and shit, and it was just stupid. You know what I mean? And it's funny because they're all trying to do shit in hip-hop, and there's not one battle that has to do with like I do this music better than you.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with who's hot.
Right.
So a lot of the battle has been Amara La Negra, who's Dominicana, and a lot of people are defending her and they're forgetting that her music sucks. Yeah, let's go back to Dominican Republic though. There used to be this group called Las Chicas del Can. They were all female merengue group. And they dressed all sexy, like they were all in like, sometimes they perform all in like bathing suits and shit. Like it'd probably be like this just came from the beach and everything, and they would just be performing like that. And you could tell they were tapping the conga, and they didn't know how to play it, but they were just tapping the shit. So it was a total gimmick band. And when you listen to her music, listen to one of those old songs, and then listen to Amara La Negra's music, and you'd be like, wow, this is like an updated version, more colorful, better. You know, it's just 1080 HD. Those videos aren't. That's the only difference, though. You know what I mean? Right. But people don't look at that. They're not saying like, yo, yes, she was in the producer with Miami. And by the way, when I say that Miami's the place where all Latin music dies, is because it really does die there. That's where all the all the anti-Fidel contingent is there. All the so-called the white Cubans that have nothing to do with Cuban culture, and they dilute it, they abuse it. And this is as a macro level. Don't tell me about one dude that you know in Cuba who keeps it real. You know, in Miami that keeps it real. I'm talking about like the area as a general whole. You know what I mean? They pop out everything. They pop the song. That's why, you know, white folk only know the conga line because of Gloria Estefan. So, you know, but the thing about it was that producer was trying to get to dilute her blackness, and she was standing up for that, and people salute that, and I do too. But the thing is, though, is that when we look for people to support our causes, though, let's not forget, though, they've got to have some kind of talent, though.
That is true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like if he was going out there and somebody was saying, yo, I'm all about Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Right.
Yo, you better make sure that he's Ip Man level.
Right.
I don't want a dude representing Wing Chun Kung Fu among all the MMA dudes, and he's just mad fragile.
Right.
You know? I don't want people representing blackness and hip-hop if they ain't really black like that. If you do bullshit music, you're not really doing nothing edgy, nothing black.
Right.
So anyway, she basically was telling him, you know, it was a respect fake moment, but in this 2018, it's respect my fake. That's what we keep seeing. We keep seeing people holler and respect my fake. You know what I mean? And I'm not having that shit, but it is a trend though, so it's gonna happen though. So you heard it here first with Sunez Allah. You know what I mean? That's a new wave. You know what I mean? So drown in it though. I hope that wave goes so slow that each ripple just smashes really hard.
Ripple effect.
Exactly. But you know, I'm always here because I have a guest that actually MCs though. You know, so and I have a guest that there's a lot to say about it, but I want to preface something with something I wrote about him on the fly after going to a Low and Lyric show. You know, which is a regular. It's not a yearly showcase. Maybe it's biannually. Sometimes I do it 2, maybe even 3 times a year, where it's a showcase for low life MCs. And this brother went there, and this is what I had written though. I had written this on the fly, and it was inspired by him because he had noticed what I was doing. And I said my low brother noticed I stayed writing while I saw he MCs from entrance into this Low and Lyric showcase of low life MCs. As he warmed up the crowd from his arrival, introducing himself to the people with sincerity, acknowledging his best of friends, he calmly enjoyed the Low family and hip-hop lovers. His stage presence was slowly being birthed. I never saw the born months. Casually seated on the stage bench, he explained why the low-life greats earned their due, and how the earlier performers reveal a continuing legacy. Then he stood, and he entered us into chants. Then back and forth we swayed, and I resisted. I'm studying a technique. How dare I enjoy all this shit? He rocked songs loud, and I realized he could have whispered his verses with the lowest volume on his back breakbeats. We all would have listened. This was some page in the MC manual of the real, a stylistically voiced, perfectly enunciated, grooved cadence, articulated warmth for daytime breaking or nighttime breakaways. These books, if you read them, are like reading Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. You know, pics, seeing the pics and imagining you can enter the dragon furiously by posing the stances. I crumbled up the other secrets and enjoyed his Bat Out of the Cave LP another time. And damn those master controllers, damn. But salute my guests, lifelong.
Respect, man. That's poetry right there, man. There's
He's almighty.
no one that does it like this, man. No one that
Oh
does it
man,
like
my
you,
brother
man.
lifelong.
You know
There were some things that I expunged on. I want to expose more, and I want to espouse more. And every time I see you go in someplace, like whether it was Supreme Sniper's show,
Right.
whether it was, you know, whether when you go on stage, every time you do something, it's almost like you're an ambassador. Like, you know what I mean? Hello, I'm United Nations. I'm the man that represents hip hop culture. Please acknowledge what you have just seen right here. This is excellence, though. Please understand what this man has done. And then you have like everybody's experiences and shit like that. I feel like you could take random strangers in hip hop, and just see what they've done. Like, look what you've done for hip hop, and it happens all the time, and I love that. And when you juxtapose that with Bat Out of the Cave, though, which is I was telling you lifelong off air that it's a slow burner. Those albums that become sleepers, because when I look at the top, and I haven't done my reel of 2017 yet. I'm gonna break it up into LPs and EPs because there's too many EPs last year.
A lot of music that dropped.
Right? There was a lot of music, and
good music that dropped.
I could put like just 10, but I would like to make a note of everything I heard that I really like. You know what I mean? And to show it's complete, and that a lot of people spend time, because I think grading records, and I also think numbering them, which I have to do for this, but I hate numbering them too.
Right.
I hate doing all that shit. I hate grading stuff because music is not really like that. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
But there's an articulated, when I said articulated warmth, you have one of the best voices I've ever heard on the mic, though. It has like a warmth. It hugs the microphone. You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother.
And it allows Bat Out of the Cave to be a smooth joint. Like, man, we got work problems. You got the songs about like, yo, you're just trying to make rent and shit. But then you got that New York City shit, like with C. Ray's Walls, where like,
Right.
that's a shit though, where I was like, I'm wearing the right boots. I'm wearing the polo Drax boots, those big ass, duck boots. And I was like, yo, these are stompers. We put the stompers on. You get your Timbs on and shit. And I was like, it goes so seamlessly throughout these things. You know what I mean? And I know that you spent a few years working on this album though.
Yes.
It ends up having a very diverse subject matter. Because you spent so long doing it, did that happen where he's like, look, I didn't do one of these kind of songs. Let's put that there.
Right.
Did it happen that way?
Basically, it definitely happened that way. It was, I felt like the whole process, it was basically what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? That was definitely, like, I feel like a struggle album. So I definitely had to basically record a joint, come back, you know what I'm saying, record another joint, come back. Nothing was done, you know what I'm saying, like all at once or anything. I had a certain vision for this project, so I definitely wanted to take time with each song. And each song, I felt it dealt with something that I was going through at the moment as well.
You know, over time though, were the features a difficulty to get through and stuff like that?
Right.
Were they a difficulty?
As far as like to try to get the features done, yeah, definitely. I had to work on a lot of different like people's schedules as well. Like Poison Pen, shout out to Pen. He's a busy man. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's like all over the world. So, you know, when I asked him to do the joint, it was like, yeah, I got you. You know, you my brother. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely had to wait, you know what I'm saying, and see when it was the right time for, you know, when he was in town. Same with Prince Poe. C-Rays, and I have a lot of people overseas as well.
Right.
So it was as far as like, you know, sending them the track,
and then you were going back and forth with Bunty, you know,
too, because Bunty's from Scotland. So
right.
I mean, so it's like the whole process. Now that I think about it, I feel like it took about 6 years to create, but I feel like that was the time that it should have taken. You know what I'm saying? Just because of what I was dealing with. I was dealing with the international producer that was sending me beats from overseas. And, you know what I'm saying? I took my time. I felt like even picking the beats, like I was the one that picked the beats for the project as well. So I didn't want to like just grab anything that he sent. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, yeah, man. It took a long time, but I think this was the time that it was supposed to take.
When you pick beats for that extended period, as you get songs that, oh, I definitely like this song, and you just continue to pick beats as you go along, though, are you going now, does the asking for beats get more specific?
Yes, it definitely, when we first started, Bunny was like, you know, he would send me joints. And I was already like just a fan of his works, you know what I'm saying? Because he was already doing like remixes for Nutso, and I was just hearing a lot of remixes that he was doing for different artists. And I already, you know what I'm saying, when he sent me the first couple of tracks, I was like, yo, definitely could work with you, you know what I'm saying? And then we expanded on the project, and then as he sent more beats, I felt like I didn't want to like jump into anything. I wanted to to see what he, you know what I'm saying, what he was coming with. Plus,
Right,
he was
right.
working with like so many other MCs as well. So I felt like I was like, all right, I see what you gave Do It All. I see what you gave King Ron. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? I want something different. So I felt like I kind of waited. Like the last couple of tracks, I remember that we recorded for the album. It was like we took our time. We even had songs that we recorded that didn't even make the album as well.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And other joints that we had to remix. Yeah, like now that I think about it, man, it didn't really take a long time. It actually took the time.
The
that
right
it should
amount
have-
of time.
Yeah, the right amount of time.
Right.
I feel like the only problem that I had, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but I think the only problem that I had was as far as putting everything out at the same time. A lot of the stuff was scattered because, like, you know what I'm saying, I released I leaked a couple of songs first, and then like a video came out, and then the album dropped, and the CD. I mean, that's the problem as, you know, being an independent artist, but I'm learning. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I'm
absolutely.
learning. And I just thank the fans that the fans still was able to rock with me, even
Yeah,
though
and you know,
things was all over the place like that.
eventually I want to rewind and go back to, like, you know, the earlier records, you know, and the what you've learned from them. The reason I'm saying on Bad Out of the Cave is because we're into 2018, and I don't want people to miss really one of the best records of 2017. And I think that one of the things that's so good is that Bunty, it's not only EQ'd really well, you know what I mean? This has blast potential, and none of the verses are hard to hear. Everything cuts through nicely. You know when a verse cuts through really nice through the breaks?
Right.
You know what I mean? And this has it, and it's so well arranged.
He mixed the entire project. All the cuts, Bunny Beats. The
Yeah.
artwork on the album.
You know, but
also
like-
Bunny Beats.
You know, out of a question that happens with stuff, right? How does one go about, like, most of the producers out there, this is a problem I have with a lot of producers, right? And they're well known. Some of them make good records and stuff. So I don't want to name them because it's like, I don't want to diss the people that score 15 points
Right.
in the NBA. But we're talking about like 25 points a game. Your man Bunty scored 25 a game on this one. You know what I mean?
Bunny went in.
And
he went in. He definitely went in, man.
it's like it's not just the drum quality, but it's also the sample quality. The samples is nice.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a couple of producers that they made a lot of albums this year, and as I go through, it's like we almost have to a listener for a long time. We have to dismiss ourselves and say, "Oh no, it's because, you know, that everybody used it, but it was a long time ago."
Right.
I don't like that idea.
Right.
You know, everybody used it, but it was a long time ago.
Right.
I don't want to hear the same sample again and
Right.
again. You know what I
wanna
mean?
hear something new.
And guys are using the same samples, but not really doing something new with them. Just because they put different drums, sometimes it's really not good drums.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
It's not.
definitely agree with that.
Yeah, or it doesn't match, or like the original that we heard it with suited it so well that we can't get used to the drums. You
Right,
know, the
right.
new drums they decided
Right.
to use it with. You know what I mean?
You know what I think, not to cut you off, I think the reason why Bunny is you know what I'm saying, was so good as far as like with the beats and the production, this is just his passion. You know what I'm saying? He's a DJ by nature. Then as far as, you know what I'm saying, production, he has a certain style of beats that he likes. He has a certain type of style of music that he listens to. So I think he just incorporated all of that. He, not even just with my album, just with other projects that he's done.
Right,
He
right.
just incorporates all of that. Like
Yeah,
Bunny,
because-
actually, he's even he's a professor. He basically he teaches out in Scotland on basically production and DJing.
Yeah, because it's completely ridiculously professional work.
Right.
And you know what's interesting is that this is a real New York fucking album.
Right.
The way you rhymed on it, the way you had themes,
Right,
even the video. You know, when you
Right.
did the video, that
Right.
had such a good New York vibe and shit.
We got
like
some
that.
more coming too.
You know?
We got some more coming.
Yeah, it's just a stellar work though, and I want, you know, the listeners out there really check it out though. It's on the Bandcamp. You can check them out for yourself. You know what I mean?
BadoutTheCave.com.
Stream it though, but it's an addictive pull, so you can't just stream this shit after a while. You're gonna have to buy it and take it along with you. You know what I mean?
And if you want the physical is different from the digital because the CD has bonus remixes and it has a couple of instrumentals on there too. So you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
we try to take it back and
And that's the
give
thing,
somebody
you
a
know,
little
like
different.
there are a lot of great albums that are made but you're not interested in the instrumentals.
Right.
You know, this one though, yeah, like you could get them. You know, there's
Right,
good
right,
albums,
right.
but like, nah, I like that MC. I don't want those beats though. You could keep them shits. You know what I mean?
Respect, man, respect.
But this one, you don't mind the instruments. You're like, yo, that was dope. Definitely
right,
made
right.
sense to release the instrumentals. You know what I mean?
Respect,
and
respect.
the remixes, I had not heard the what was it, the Monster Mash?
The Monster Mash remix.
That remix was crazy.
Respect,
and you
man.
know, like these are songs that they was good. They didn't need the remix. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was totally
But,
different though.
We still wanted to give that, you know, that oomph just for the listener. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The listener always has to get something extra or just something. I feel like the listener always, it's always something that was missed. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to make sure that we kind of like covered all of the angles. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to kind of remix more songs, but I didn't want to overkill it either because with the whole project, you know, Bat Out the Cave, it was like kind of a whole theme as well. You know what I'm saying? This is an album that I haven't put out. I haven't put out an album. It was like, I would say, it was like 5 years since my last project.
Right.
So, you know, I didn't want to overkill, but I wanted to still, you know what I'm saying, give the listener as much as I could. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, if we could get albums like that, I don't mind the Sade approach, where
Right.
we spend mad years waiting for Lifelong. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do it like
the
that.
next one I hope is not gonna take as
Right.
long, but I mean, just the whole independent artist, that whole vibe is hard, especially
Well,
when
you
you
know,
don't have like a label backing you as well.
That's another
you
thing. When
know?
actually you have more freedom, you could do what you want.
Right.
But it's also now, and you know, here's the thing that's interesting, and you talk about it because there's so many topics on the album. You said it was like a struggle album. It definitely plays like that with me because I'm
Right.
relating to it, and it's like, yo, it's theme music.
Right.
But the thing is, though, is that to make this, you got to go through struggle. So you're actually in the struggle, making a struggle record. And so, yo, you're doing the 9 to 5. You're dealing with fucking, you know, devils at work and terrible co-workers, all that kind of shit. You know, you're dealing with mass transit bullshit, whatever it is that you deal with. And that's the interesting thing is like to make it hip hop when you're already a grown man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It has totally different issues that are perfect for hip hop, but are more difficult to put into hip hop.
Right.
You know, because you don't have the freedom of being like a young teenager where you could just spit anytime the problems you're dealing with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then how does that balance work? You know, like, and look, does it get frustrating? It's like, yo, this is too many issues and shit. I don't want to make this music. Like, how does one stay inspired to throw all this, what would be like negativity?
Oh man. Wow, that's a great question, and it's. I feel like it's kind of like what I went through with this album because it was times when I didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes life kind of gets in the way of just the art sometimes. You know what I'm saying? When you got to pay those bills or if you just got fired from a job or you know what I'm saying, you going through like a relationship issue, you know what I'm saying, with your girl or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, you going through a family issue or something like that. All of that kind of like goes into play. So I think what I did was I felt and I found inspiration through the pain and through the struggle. And I felt like that's what kind of helped me write a lot of the songs as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a song on the album called Brownstone and Bunnyville, which, you know what I'm saying, kind of like played on the gentrification and, you know what I'm saying, how rent is just like mad high in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I wanted to touch a song like that, but I didn't want it to be too cliche and too boring where it would be like, oh, I'm just like 3 verses of. So I said, you know, let me do kind of like a story, do it kind of like funny a little, you know, a little bit, but at the same time real where it can be relatable to what we're going through in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like as you said, it's the New York album. I felt like this was definitely, I feel like my kind of like my painted picture of the landscape of what's going on.
Absolutely,
right now in New York.
And this shit plays so good in this fucked up weather.
Definitely.
It plays
It's cold.
so
It's
so
cold.
good.
It's
You know what I
cold.
mean?
It's
Like,
cold.
you know what I mean? And I didn't need this fucking weather to play this shit. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you
Right.
fucked up like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is another thing, right? We go back, Lifelong, you know, let's give a quick background about Lifelong, right? Lifelong is an MC from Queens, right?
Yes.
And I want to go I want to ask you certain parts of that history, though. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So the listener knows and everything like that, because it's really intriguing history. And like I said, I went through, as a journalist, I went through a lot of non-starters. That's a good way to put it. A lot of places that non-start what I was trying to do with this element. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what really suffered, and this is probably why I call it the Dark Ages. You can't call the 2000s the Dark Ages if it wasn't that for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I call it that. And it was that for journalism. 2000 magazines were, as thick as Vogue magazine, huge, filled with ads though. But the music was all bullshit, and I could see everybody that they were pumping was weak.
Yep.
And the underground didn't get promoted though. I think I liken it to there were 3 individuals. I'm trying to remember the 3 of them. Yeah, the 3 individuals that should have been not just popular, but mega pop stars, right? And they were in 99, they were Mos Def, right? 98, 99, Mos Def, Lauryn Hill, and Big Pun. They made records. They had huge success, but they were supposed to launch so many careers for everything else in the underground. After them, not only did those careers get cut short for whatever reason, right? Because a lot of people think that these careers got short because Lauren's crazy, Pun died. Mos Def didn't want to do acting, but a lot of people don't know how much the industry had affected the lifestyle decisions that each of the 3 of them made, because it makes it hard to make a record in that industry as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and look at the time too that we were going through, like around
exactly, yeah,
98, 99. We were like just right on the brink of just everything, just the chaos that happened in 2001.
Exactly.
A lot of things were just coming to light around that time. If you listen to the music, look at the music around that time. It was just now. 98, 99 was when it was making the transition into the shiny suit, the flashy era. You know what I'm saying? So
and production was really faltering. Like hardcore beats was so trebly.
Oh man.
Right? They were so filled with treble. They had no real thick bass.
Definitely.
They didn't have if Premiere is the typical beat that we could use, they didn't have that cohesion like that. They were deliberately we spent a long time mastering music without instruments.
Right.
And then when we finally master it, we get people that don't know how to use any of the fucking new instruments, which is the tech.
Right.
And you could tell, it was just sounded cheap. You know what I mean? And all of that affected the music and shit. And it also affected the writing, because we couldn't, the media, we couldn't write about the dope niggas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could only write about who they would tell us, though. And I often would quit. And, artists like the whole Stronghold clique, whether it was from, you, C-Ray's Walls, Poison Pen, I couldn't write about any of these people. And then if I had a focus on albums and release music, what if I wasn't in there doing that? And that's what everybody mainly buys.
Right.
What about the people that was pioneering stuff that was beyond just recorded music, like Poison Pen, PH, right? Remembered Imperfection, our brother PH,
Rest in peace.
right? And because these are pioneers of that battle movement that everybody's talking about. Without them, this shit doesn't exist. This shit doesn't make you any paper.
Yeah, I remember when the battle movement first sparked. You know what I'm saying? Like my first kind of interpretation to the whole MC battles and stuff like that, we was really just doing that on the streets, in the Ville, in the village. You know what I'm saying? On West 4th, cats would come out there on Fridays and Saturday nights. Everybody from different boroughs would come out just to meet in the Ville to rhyme, and that's where the battles started, because somebody would get cut off in the cipher. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as the first, I feel showcase battles in New York was Bragging Rights at the New York Poets Cafe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how you can look at, what cats are doing now from, where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Poison Pen would be he would be a great person to just kind of build just about the whole battle culture, where it is from.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Lifelong, because then we have an MC as you coming through with the clicks. And the records that you've put out, though, they've been more and more focused as you go along. they've been thematic though. You're very good at having thematic tracks mixed in with it though, and they just have. There are a time when the records are quality. You know what I mean? And there's a small, rare mix of brothers like that were making music like that, and didn't get any shine, didn't get anything. I could barely find anything ever written about you.
You know what I'm learning? I'm learning more and more that someone told me a long time ago, and I don't even remember who told me this, but whoever told me this, they're a very smart person. You know what I'm saying? They told me that not everybody is meant to succeed. Okay? Some people are just meant to inspire. Some people are meant to just do their craft. You know what I'm saying? So, meaning when I say succeed, as far as like a monetary or, you know what I'm saying, you're not always going to get the wealth sometimes that, you know what I'm saying, that you may want as far as like bragging rights or the money or anything like that. Now that I look at myself and I look at, you know what I'm saying, the years that I've been doing this in the craft, I definitely wanted to be, you know what I'm saying, notarized and, you know what I'm saying, given those accolades as other people have been given. But one thing I could say is my name has still been relevant throughout all these years. And through, I don't care, through anything, that's all, you know what I'm saying, that's all that I would want. You know what I'm saying, that's all that I need. It's just like basically my name just to continue just to thrive throughout this. You know what I'm saying? Just like this show, the Vandal Hour, you know what I'm saying? It basically is a show that gives props to the graffiti artists, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
To that culture. I feel like as far as in the MC culture, I'm like the graffiti artist just trying to keep my name up. You know what I'm saying?
I see that, yeah.
So I don't care about all the fame. I don't need to be like the next T-shirt design or anything like that. As long as you see my name up, and that's how I am. As long as you see my name up there every year, I'm gonna be in somebody's playlist. That's good enough for me.
You know, and let's talk about the actual MCing, right? Because I said this in the intro that I had read about your voice, about the way that you rhyme, but when we talk about the way that you rhyme, though, right? And I noticed in other records, especially like Longevity, right? The 1.5 and other records too.
Taking it back, I like that.
There's a way that you rhyme, and it's very common among Stronghold, right? It's a little bit more wild with Poison. It goes a little bit more astray, definitely with C-Rays, because C-Rays goes astray with everything. Right. He does everything in the most abstract way. But there's a way that you rhyme that it often doesn't, it's not that it doesn't care for, but it also, it's like it doesn't have to worry about making sure that you're always with the bar. Right. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you'll add extra words and it finds a new rhythm. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? Like, when you write, when you're working on these projects and stuff like that, how did you learn the MC? Like, what were you studying though?
When I first started, I used to just write, and I never had any bar structure, and everything was off beat. So when I started learning how to basically like write bars, I said, you know what? I'm gonna kind of try to keep that same offbeat and off rhythm style, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make myself as like another instrument to the beat. So that's why if you notice, like every track that I rhyme over, I never sound the same, because I try to basically just be another element on the beat. So it's like, say if I'm writing to this beat right here, I'm gonna try to like do a pattern that would like basically match the beat. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to do that on every beat. You know what I'm saying? On every beat, I'm gonna just give you something different. And it's just like kind of my style. It's just my signature. It's just like I try to fit in as many words as I can. You know what I'm saying? But still kind of like end on time. You know? So it's like an offbeat, on-beat kind of style, but I don't know, man. It's I think really it's just me being like a freestyle artist. Like that's how Stronghold, like, you know what I'm saying, before like we started writing with the pen, we were just out there on the streets rhyming, freestyling to the break of dawn. So when we got into the lab and started like creating these records, it was like, all right, now we got to structure these songs. So I felt like I had to find a way to still bring what I was doing on the streets to the record. So I just do that with every beat. You know what I'm saying? Every beat that I get, I'm always gonna sound different on the next track.
Right,
you know
right.
I'm never gonna sound
And
the same.
this style also has to do with contrasting the MC before you, because often when you come after a guy,
Right,
you often have a different cadence than the guy that was before you.
right,
So even if like, because there's some songs where you come in on the real, you don't come in low. You coming in when the beat is real high.
right,
And yet the cadence is so different.
Right.
They were like, oh, Lifelong's on it now.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, you know, for the listener, these are things that like, I know they're doing it on purpose though. Like,
Right.
you know, when sometimes when you hear a good MC, don't think that you like, oh, it just happened though. You got lucky with that beat. You know what I mean?
Right,
He
right,
didn't get
right.
fucking lucky. He knows what he's doing with that shit. Like, they really are really mastering it, because for me, I see it being done better with the records you're going. That's why I'm so big on Bat Out the Cave, because I see like it's reached another peak. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, you know, it seems even more effortless, you know, because you don't really have a stressed voice. You never seem stressed. Like, you could be like, I'll kill you and shoot you. It always sounds like, yeah, you know, he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Right.
It sounds smooth. Like, you know, it's so smooth. You know what I mean?
Right,
Whereas when C-Ray's raps, it's all like, I'm going to shoot you. And he's like,
right,
it comes
right.
high, low, and then it's always fluctuating greatly. But your inflections are so, they're a little bit more subtle. But your voice is so much more distinct.
Right.
You know, it's very distinct. I can't find other MCs. Like, if I forgot the name of it though, but also the compilation you had where like you had tons of different MCs.
Oh, the cuts and collabs.
Yeah, and
Right.
you know, when we go through it, it's so easy to find you on there.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know,
And, I mean, that was something too. Like I felt like being that there's so many MCs out there, and in New York, I had to just my style, my flow, everything just had to be kind of different. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, I mean, you know, you listen to a lot of MCs and you get caught up and you're like, oh, this one sounds like this, and I don't want to sound like anybody really. You know, or if I do sound like somebody, I want people to have a bunch of people that like I may remind them of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Except for like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe just like kind of like one person, like, oh, this dude kind of sounds like Nas, or this dude sounds like Rakim, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I just tried to do something just so different and just, you know what I'm saying, next level.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and there's some, you know, briefly, because, you know, I hate on usually everybody that does shit. You know, unless I know you and look out for you, everybody that writes in this hip hop shit is whack. I'm the best. You know what I mean?
I think so,
with
man.
with every Trumpian emphasis on that. I'm the best. There's no one better, right?
I think so, man.
I had to put the fingers like Trump, Joe, so he repeated like that, you know. But the thing is this, right? When we talk about like all this media, we talk like, yo, there's a million fucking podcasts, there's all this shit like that, right? I gotta say this though, one of the greatest places for hip hop, and if you want to love the music again, when you're in it though, and you're really doing it sincere, if you take a trip to TME, the TME studio,
Oh man.
it just makes you feel like, yo, I
It's
forgot
like
I
in
love
here.
this
It's-
stuff.
it's like here.
It's like a regular home. It's really nice. You know what I mean? So like, I wouldn't mind living here. It's pretty nice. I kick everybody out and I just keep all the music, right? But it's also really the home where Gorilla Grooves Radio is, and Gorilla Grooves Radio is also where you do it. And it's like, it's more proof to the listener right now. I'm trying to
Right.
prove to you that, you know, when I say that Lifelong is an ambassador, it really fucking is because
man,
he
respect,
really does.
Respect, man.
There's such a love for all the music, and then working with Gorilla Grooves Radio. I mean, these guys are real, like, they're people that I respect. You know what I mean? Because as I go into it though, and I get back into it, because I did radio all the way back in the '90s, and then now this decade I've gotten back into it.
Me too. I don't.
You know?
Do you remember 105.9 back in the days?
Of course, yeah.
Remember that radio show, The Graveyard Shift?
Yeah.
I was a part of that.
That's what's up.
That was my first crew.
Oh, that's
You know
real
what I'm saying?
peace.
So
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
so just like building on what you're saying, I'm just cut from that cloth. I'm cut from that cloth where we're from that cloth where we used to, you know what I'm saying, a cloth where we help each other. You know what I'm saying? And if you're part of a movement, you know what I'm saying, you're part of that movement, and you want to make sure that everybody is on. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's just the type of vibe that I'm on.
You know, to conclude this build, I say all this because Lifelong is a man, you know, who exemplifies what low life is about. The love and loyalty. You know, I didn't have a chance to write everything I wanted to. I could give a whole bunch of excuses, but fuck that, right? But I didn't have enough, so I jumbled up a lot of records I was behind on in one piece, right? And there was one record that I didn't like, so he kept bothering me to write it, so I wrote a bad one, and I said, let me put it small and put it in here. That was a favor, because I could write a long bad one, right? If you keep bothering me. But I put I put Bad Out of the Cave, and I was just, let me just throw that in there. And I was like, when I wrote it, I was like, yeah, this is so much better than what I fucking wrote about. But what happened was what the little that I wrote about it, which I thought was decent enough, put it out there. I tagged Lifelong in the Instagram. And from that point on, though, he put everybody on to the way I was writing. So much so that I was able to do a panel discussion because of him. You know what I mean? And, you know, just because niggas know that, oh, shit, this nigga's nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's more to come, too, brother.
And that's love and loyalty. You know what I mean? Not only love and loyalty for your brother, but, you know, he has a love for what he was doing. Because he knows he's nice. So he's comfortable in being dope. That he wasn't like, nah, fuck that nigga. You know what I mean?
It's just New York. It's the cloth that we're cut from. I mean, I'm a golden era cat, man. I'm one of those brothers that I've been around, man, since the, you know what I mean, the early 90s. I was there, man. Them clubs, Home Base, the Palladium, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The Muse,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? All them sessions on West 4th, Lyricist Lounge.
Absolutely,
I've
yeah.
been around for a minute,
this man survived the dark ages into this, what I call the invisible renaissance, because I'm trying to make him visible, but there's a lot to do for that. So, you know, not only listen to Vandal Hour, not only listen to when we do our podcast as Classic Storm Radio, but you do yourself a favor when you listen to Gorilla Grooves Radio. There's so much good radio out now. It's like, it really is like the golden era. We do have a golden era of great media if you actually go listen to it, because there's so much music and they put so many people on, and they're really a joy to listen to.
It's kind of like remember the whole 88hiphop.com phase and Stretch and Barbito, and then you had Martin Moore and Mr. Mayhem. We got so many radio stations, like
there's
you said.
There's a lot of good
like
stuff.
That. And I feel like everybody's connected too. No one's trying to like, I don't feel like a cutthroat kind of vibe, or, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's like working with each other. Like we've had so many radio shows up at our show, you know what I'm saying? And we've been to so many other radio shows as well.
Yeah,
like,
there's a camaraderie to it,
really
though.
Nice
and
community,
that's what's
nice
up, because
community.
all these brothers doing it are nice, so they're not looking to make other people look whack to elevate their skill level.
Exactly.
And, you know, with that note, before you get into 2018 and you spend your money on whatever these love and hip hop people are releasing and really fuck up your money, go get Bad Out the Cave, get the instrumentals. He's got the Bandcamp. What's the Bandcamp exactly?
The Bandcamp is badoutthecave.com. You know what I'm saying? You get the digital. I'm also on Spotify. I'm on Apple Music. I'm on iTunes. Or you get the CD right here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's my last copy. I got to give it to the guard
right
here.
Oh, that's peace, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's to the guard right
Absolutely,
there.
I appreciate that.
But, yeah, cop that, please. You know what I'm saying? You can get it directly from me. Hit me in the DM here on Instagram. Hit me on Facebook.
And what's the Instagram?
The Instagram is Liggy Long.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
LIGGYLONG.
LONG.
That's right.
So
that's
hit
right.
Me up, man. I'm on a vibe. If you're in New York or you're in the tri-state area, I'll hop on the train and just meet you somewhere with the CD. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And all that. Or you could just see me at a show too. I'm everywhere.
That's definitely dope. And, you know, just to leave the listener, if you could throw a bar or two at us.
Oh, of course.
And we get out of here.
We rocking over this, the Helter Skelter. We doing Helter Skelter beat? Okay. Check it. Yeah. Yo, I'm sorry if I'm messing up the IG Live. It's Lifelong, flipping them styles. Surprise, it's me. I'm here Flipping them flows, I cut the wind sorta like a spear. I'm up inside of the ear or inside of your ear canal, spitting them vocals, and you be like, oh, why? Or should I say the style is that fly, sorta like aeronomics. My verse is ill, peep the tropics that I was burning outside. Lyrically, I let you flow, peep the landslide. What? The style is crazy when I be rocking. It's all freestyle directly off the mind. It's no written. I had to take a smidgen of no style because it's all premeditated. The style is elevated, elated. I leave MCs done it with the flow that I've created off the top of the mind, off the top of the noggin. I might have to spit some written now just to let you know that I got that ill type of flow. Like, yo, what I came in the door, still said it before, still let you know that the style is like the score, like the Fugees. I've been here before. What I take it to the future like a clock in the future. What? Yeah, I'm ahead of my time. I still rhyme. I'm still past my prime. Still not signed, cause it's the independent mind, and I do this like if I jumped off the bridge and not even had a hand glide. I still glide off the earth when I disperse a verse with no rehearse, leaving MC's dome cut off, and I send it flying like a nerf. That's the sport, lyrically contort. Yeah, I wasn't gonna spit and written, but I gotta spit a freestyle to let you know that I haven't done it in a while. And this is some flows right off the top. Once again, Cohen Sen, my man Skillustrator Low is the best with the pen in the game when he's writing. DTF, and we on the radio when it's live and on the Vandal hour. Put my name up, yeah, that's like me. LIFE, spitting the flows, I'm spitting the freeze, and we doing this once again on the DTF. I spit a flow, and once again I be the refugee like Clef, or should I say like Proswell. I rock well and still excel. I got the battery, the energy in my back like a Duracell. Please, the style is crazy. I used to wear my hair rugged like Maxwell. That was probably me on the first LP. SP, Struggler's Paradise. The style is crazy. What we sort of like at the wee hours of the night, we going to the 3 in the morning, the crack of dawning. What? It's the lifelong, and the flows are just pouring off the top of the dome. I cut the locks, but I still rock spots, leave MCs done in and transform into a cycle one form like a GoBot. Or should I say what? I'm past my prime like Optimus, smack MCs with a million technicals like an octopus. Yo, too many MCs are signing puss. Oh, they need to stop it. I still rock it. Yeah, we doing this once again. Big up to my man Sunez, yo, who spit the phlegm with the pen once again, and we doing this again on the Vandal hour. Yeah, it's LIFE. I still burn the sour. Yeah, I still burn the all types of kush. What? Leaving MCs done in when I push the button. I'm not Trump. I still make MCs done in. Yo, I'm tired of these companies that be bugging. What? Like H&M talking about like our kids are monkeys. Please, you gotta stop that. I'm not buying y'all clothes no more. Yeah, you see me once again. LIFE, tell a friend to cop that out the cave.
Nice, nice. And on that note, fuck HM. Salute lifelong.
Just having fun, freestyling with
That's
it. You know what I'm saying? Cats don't freestyle no more.
That's
man.
right. Thank you again. Lifelong, man. Salute my little brother.
Man, respect,
all right.
Respect, man.
And I gotta thank again everybody at the Vandal Hour. Peace.
Big up my Chief Squad, Stronghold, Auxiliary Arms. You know what I'm saying? Writers Guild, Lower Velocity, where you at? Big up Yazid. Word. Vandal Hour.